Yeah, I got them right here. Here, I'll read from my most recent one. Hobble is the best. Done. Look at that.
That's a good note. I think
Just over and over.
I'm pretty sure that's literally the first thing he said on stream, so that's gonna be a nice cold opening.
And some doodle.
Some doodles.
Of like Hobble being like heroic, doing different things, just being awesome in general.
Hobble is the best. I've got Clarice's name in hearts.
I mean, I believe it.
Yeah, it's true. You've got that going. Thaddeus has got pictures of Lachelle in his notebook with hearts around her.
Pictures of her curled up sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. Some weird, quirky man standing above her. It's just really weird.
Just watching her sleep.
Just watching her sleep.
With this expression. Just...
Wait, do that again. Let me get a screenshot. I need to, hold on. I'm not even ready. Oh, that's not a good one. Nobody wants to look at that.
No. I'm trying not to smile.
Alright, what are we doing here? So.
I can run through, you know, a repertoire of emotions for you so you can get that whole screenshot GIF thing going on.
We'll work on that. I need to do that for
Okay.
Alice, apparently.
You need to do her soundboard.
Oh, I didn't do her soundboard. I didn't have time. It's so time consuming.
Awesome.
So,
the best would be to see if anybody on like Twitch or anything knows.
let's have one of you guys recap, because apparently I can't stay on track to save my life.
Well,
nothing happened last session. Let's begin.
Yeah, let me see if I took good enough notes.
Last hour, so
I feel like last session was one of the most packed sessions.
a lot of shit happened.
All right, here, let me just read off of my notes, and you can all tell me how I did. Throkon is off to Quetzalon, an old shrine to a wind serpent. He took Moatuk's trident, which will apparently give him access to great and old power. He corrupted the water in some way, and weird black lizardkin came out to attack us. Corkracon, sorry, I misspoke. Corkracon tells us that Throkon is seeking Akalon, a hidden ziggurat. He gives me a cool snake statue, and Lachelle gets a cool sword. We're off to kill Throkon. I give Corkracon Renus's journal as a sign of friendship, but Corkracon is a dick and illiterate. I wrote that. I wrote it.
I'm loving the South Park intonation for this, by the way. But you could easily be, what was that fucking Brad, isn't it? That like Fred gives the money to begin to kidnapped and taken to fucking.
Right.
Peru.
That was just the first. That was just the first half of the session. This is the second half of the session. And several ghosts barring the way who warn us about a thing that Thaddeus doesn't understand. More importantly, I find magic future water and fill a water skin. It isn't magical, but is really fucking good. More exploring in the temple, I start having visions of lizardkin heroes. Identify draconic writing on temple altar, hail to the prophets, and I think it said something else, but I do not remember what Ty told me. Eventually, I have a vision of the trident hero having a conversation with Procracon's wind serpent, Krukolkin. They mention elder gods and the names Cthulgros, Vor, Zorgoroth, Gruthalak, Yverthra, Korgeth. And that's what happened last week on Dungeons and Dragons. Orca porn.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, right? I'm just gonna rebrand everything to Orca porn. Why am I calling it Felheim?
Stupid.
I'm confused by this is the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, what even is this? Yes.
D&D 5e Orca porn.
So.
A homebrew campaign.
A homebrew campaign. Man, we're getting nowhere fast. So, that is where we left off, as you guys went through these various tribulations, if you will, through the temple of Kukulkan in Quetzalon, gathering a number of various scenes and visions in various areas throughout the kind of etched iconography along the walls, through the water, and through the various murals and things around the chamber. You guys made your way through towards what is seemingly the end, as you came to this sort of last, almost centralized chamber. The sound of rushing water cascading down below. You turn up to see numerous large piles of just blood stricken everywhere, some of it still somewhat fresh. As you look up, you can see, I believe, Hobble, you did with your familiar, kind of saw the spiraling staircase headed down from the center of this platform. And that is where we left off.
Indeed.
And Thaddeus
The
got
very last thing.
molded by the Raven. Thaddeus.
Oh, he did, yeah, because you should. Before was in the room on the right, just in case there's anything might be hostile. That was all.
Wait,
Yeah.
are we in the right place?
You're not, you're back at the top. Give me 1 second. I shall fix.
Hey, it's the bird.
Apparently we left the bird behind.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
Can you ping the spot? Oh, please.
What's that?
I think we're to the left and down.
Oh no, I know. I'm just dragging you through everything. Oh no! Stop that
It's a little
shit!
refresher.
Don't you move your fucking token. I'll kick your dick in.
We're just leading the way, guy. Piles of blood.
And I believe that is where we left off. With dynamic lighting not working as you see through walls.
Excellent.
What
Indeed.
walls?
There you, right there. Right there. Oh, interesting. Hiding one side reveals the other. Seems legit. Thanks, Roll20. Nevertheless, that is where you guys are. All the way at the bottom. What would you guys like to do?
So yeah, again, I'm just gonna say I said we should maybe have a look at the right, just in case anything is lurking there. We already had these big scalers, and then we probably don't want to be heading into a staircase if they hadn't noticed us. That's what I said last session.
Oh, the right.
No, the right. Over here somewhere, because there's a room over there. I could just see the faintest part of it, which I really should not be able to see.
Yeah, won't let me hide it. Just reveals the bottom. Yeah. There we go. What are you guys doing?
Oh, we're playing a game now.
if you want.
If you want.
Yeah, I'm good with scaring out to the... I'll send my familiar that way.
So you send the familiar out kind of just into this next adjacent chamber. It opens up in a much larger area of this room, seemingly square with a bunch of half-circular offset areas, many of them raised up a few feet off the ground. In each of them you see, as you peer through the eyes of the raven, what look to be bowls of water inlaid into the marble stone, and each of them kind of bubbling, black, turbulent. You see three much larger ones on the southern side of the chamber, on the top, four that line these offset pieces of the wall.
Okay, I will. I'll break my bond with it and relay all this to my group and say, well, we could go after. I didn't see any lizardkin like prowling, did I? None of the black ones.
None that you saw.
Why you backwards? Seems kind of racist.
What'd you say, Ty?
None that you've seen.
Okay. I didn't see any lizardkin, but who knows if they're gonna spawn at the worst time. It might be worth putting the statue that CrackerCon gave us to use.
What do you want to do with it?
That's a good idea.
I don't know how he did purify the black pool at the at Narwhal. He infused it with his power. I can try to climb the other room.
The other room, black?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait a second.
I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'd favor that.
Problem is if time is of the essence, and it might be from what we've seen, then this could just take a lot of time.
Well, it seemed to take very little time for him last time, so...
Yeah, it seemed pretty quick.
I mean, we can at least give it a go. If it looks like it's a lot more complicated than you think, we can always give up. Come back later.
Alright, let's give it a try. I will lead the way.
Just give me 2 seconds. I'm switching over browsers. It's vision all over the map. I thought I was in the place right.
What's that?
But,
Oh, that's pretty odd.
for some reason I can see basically all the map.
I can.
I wonder if you're still getting vision from my bird.
Oh, are you
I'm not
saying
sure if it comes
great
up.
is like where we've been?
Oh, I don't know. If that's it. If you turned on that fucking advanced for water.
What are you?
Yeah,
what are you seeing?
I think that's what it is. It's you can basically we can see where we've been, but it's not lit up. So like there could be monsters and shit there we wouldn't see them.
So
but we can.
I didn't realize you turned it on, and that might be what's causing my horrific map.
Excellent.
Like unloadable, horrific lag in this map.
Oh, maybe that's why I'm lagging.
If it's that bad, I can turn it off. It's not that big a deal. I'm surprisingly not getting any lag, and I'm actually on Chrome.
Yeah, but I have hardware acceleration turned off on it to stuff. But actually, on Firefox, I have no vision of my character, so I'm gonna go back to Chrome.
Alright, it's turned off. See if that's any better.
Yeah, I'm just going.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's better for me.
Wouldn't be a Wednesday night without technical difficulties.
All right, well, I'll be right back.
I'm in already.
It's too late. He's gone. It's all over.
Okay.
We good. Right then. So, Hobble, as you head into this chamber, the rest of the party trailing behind you, you see pretty much the same thing the bird saw. As you come in, you can see this three-tiered level of the room. On the highest tier, following up the staircases, these offset areas, these large pools of water inlaid into the marble. Even from here, you can hear the churning and boiling as this brackish water just kind of bubbles up over the top. You stand there for a moment, but there's no change. Nothing seems to come out of them in the same way that it did at the temple in Nahuat.
I'm going to pull out my my statue, my figurine of, what's it called? Oh, I didn't even put it down on my sheet. Figurine of wondrous power, and see how it reacts to the environment.
Are you pulling it out or activating it?
Just pulling it out.
Okay. You pull it out and you kind of hold it aloft for a moment, waiting for some sort of reaction, but there's nothing that you can see. It doesn't glow, it doesn't seem to shift or change in any way. The room just stays the same.
Alright, I will activate it then.
You get a little pet.
Quetzal, I'll choose you.
Can you please throw the statue?
I throw the statue at a fountain. I don't do that.
You get a black.
So
slime.
you simply kind of just, as you say the word, you see it start to glow. You quickly let go of it mid-air before it hits the ground. You see it just woof, warp and change into this lifelike Quetzal. It sort of just hovers there for a moment, waiting for your command, darting sort of back and forth in the same spot.
Can you talk? Do you speak?
I think that becomes part of it. Right. Animal messenger at will.
Oh yeah, I can. Okay. What does Animal Messenger do? I can just send it messages? Oh, no, it can.
Can't really respond back.
It can deliver messages for me, but it doesn't seem to be able to speak.
So cool.
Okay, 50 miles per 25. For flying messenger, and I only get it for 12 hours. Alright, that's good to know. In any case, I am going to direct it towards this black pool, the top, or the top left, and see what happens. And I'm going to tell it to Clonslap Pool.
As you give it the command, it immediately sort of pulls out to its full length. Its wings, although small, spanned out, make it a somewhat imposing creature that darts over to the pool. It sort of hovers around it for a moment and starts to effortlessly wind around it, circling just above. You see it kind of dive low towards it, then back up, kind of gauging what exactly it is. The longer it does this, the more you start to see it glow and shimmer, this greenish white arcane sort of magical effect, similar to Krokorokon spell, seems to envelop the entirety of its body, and as it goes in a circle around the pool, you see it almost start to fall onto the pool, dripping almost off of the creature. As each droplet of arcane magic hits the water, you see black mist start to evaporate slowly but surely over the course of a minute or so. The pool seems to clear and return to its original shape. As soon as it ends, it darts back to you for only a moment before it immediately takes off towards the next pool, one by one, going down the line, each one taking a minute or so, getting just slightly quicker as he seems to maintain the magic that he used in the first one, not needing to recast it, if you will. As it finishes the fourth one up top, it darts right back down to you, kind of stands there, hovering, flapping.
So to do those three down there.
It gives you this tiny, and then darts off, takes off to the pool, kind of just closest to you in the bottom left. You see him, this time no longer glowing, hover it in the same way, and once again start to take on the same effect. Takes a bit longer this time, just given the size of the pool. 2-3 minutes pass, but finally it seems to dissipate entirely. You see the black mist rise off of the small inlet of water. As it does, however, you see the other two almost begin to grow, begin to bubble faster, more fiercely. You see it begin to pour over the top, the black ichor sliding down the sides of the bowl, along the marble flooring.
Like it's just, is the water, like it's coming towards us, or it's just overflowing?
It seems to just be overflowing, but as it continues to upheave and boil, you see more and more of the brackish liquid take to the floor. Give me perception. Why can't I see rolls? Oh, there we are, 13. As you look outward, you don't see it doing anything aside from bubbling oil over. Seems to be just, actually, you guys can all take this perception. I assume you guys are all looking quite intently at this.
Nah, just I'm paying attention.
Ignoring it.
picking my nose, whatever.
Hey, I mean,
Whatever, Hobble's got it.
We're like, do you know what? That looks unhealthy. Anyway.
So, to Hubble and Thad, as you guys watched it, is simply just this ichor boiling over, but Airdeth, as you kind of take a step closer, you see ever so slightly where the water kind of very clearly begins to bubble over the sides and trickle its way down to the steps below, where it should really be pooling and stopping. It seems to be moving in a sort of odd shape, ever so slightly, moving straight ahead rather than along the seam of the wall.
I'm gonna like immediately point and like gesture to Hole. It's like, it's not right. Just get back. And I'm drawing my
yeah,
sword.
Yeah, I'll back up a bit. I'm gonna keep playing the Quetzal do its thing, but I'm also going to hold a firebolt for the if I see them sort of coalesce into anything. Now that I'm paying attention to what Airdeth saw.
Okay. With that, then the creature darts off towards the next one. You see it start to spiral and twist above it. As it does, as it starts to rain down this same energy. As it starts to evaporate, there's this hissing sound accompanied by this tss. Suddenly you see this golden shower of sorts. It's not possible, this group. As it interacts with the black mist, it suddenly stops. It seems as though the mist begins to eat away at the magic being let down by the creature. The hissing gets louder, and after 30 seconds of this, clearly no longer doing anything, you see the beast fly off to the side, and it darts around the pillar, spiraling all the way up to the top where it perches itself, kind of aiming downwards, and lets out this sort of hissing sound to the thing. As it does so, the pool still bubbling oil over, coalescing along the cracks and slowly moving forward, seem to just fully engross into these puddle-like shapes. And I need everyone to roll initiative.
Fucking. What's your dex, Phil?
It's got +3 to that. So.
Son of a bitch. See, at least beat me.
Ah shit! She didn't update her sheet, did she?
Probably not.
I wonder if there's anything I need to look at.
Solid rolls from all parties.
Mm-hmm. What did my initiative roll again?
Wait, yeah. That's...
I wasn't even on my sheet when I did that. So. Oh, it rolled the shield initiative on my
Twice.
sheet. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, she's on 12, not 3. Effectively.
So 19 for Hobble, 12 for the shield, 6 for Airdeth. Raven just goes with Hobble. Who am I missing? I'm missing Thad. What do you roll? 6?
Yeah.
There's been
So I've
getting a lot of issues.
I've got a
lately.
+3 initiative. So what do you use there?
I got +2.
Well, there you go. You guys are all still before it. So, Hobble,
Hey.
you watch as they suddenly just kind of lurch to life. The one directly where it is, and you see out of the bottommost bowl what seems to be another secondary shape slowly just kind of moving its way, sliding across the ground as it comes out of the orifice.
Fucking shadow walk.
I'll just firebolt it. This front one here.
Definitely gonna hit with 15. You're gonna take a step back. Your back's against the ledge behind you. Let out a firebolt. It slams into it. This same hissing sound and horrific scent fills the air around you guys. It's spicy 13 damage. I guess to Lichio.
Alright, so I think Lichio is going to go into her rage. Oh, actually, no, she's already used a bunch of rage, isn't she? She's not going to do that. She's going to come and just try and get a idea of the situation, because she's only just seeing it the first time. And I think she's going to be a bit tentative and throw javelins at the first, because she's pretty hurt. So I guess the closest one. So just the first one hits for 10 damage. No Divine Fury, because it's not a melee attack.
Alright, so stepping to the side, not getting close to whatever this thing is, lets out a flurry of javelins. The first one goes straight into it, seems to just impale the ground. You can hear the of stone as it impacts and lodges itself into it. The creature seems to just morph and meld around it. And the second one, as she throws it, gets clipped on one of the columns as it passes and just kind of moves off to the side, doesn't hit anything. Erda.
Okay, so I'm going to go running forward, I think, to intercept the first one. And I'm going to swing in with a booming blade for my first attack. Oh, fuck you, you piece of shit. To remove the stuff from my sheet as well.
Spicy.
Yeah, just give me one second. Gotta use my new sheet.
We lost our viewer.
That's it, it's gone.
All one of them? I don't even know.
All of our viewer is gone.
I don't even keep them like up to date on Twitch anymore. I kind of just do this so I can go back at this point.
Okay, so that's so far. And it's going to be 2 thunder damage as well.
Okay, as you come swinging in with the longsword, the ooze sort of just parts around the weapon, but the electrical energy around it seems to vaporize and strike out. You see pieces of it seem to just boil and churn, letting off this same putrid scent. As it does so. Take 6 acid damage.
Cool, I don't take any because I'm currently jumping behind, so.
Alright.
He's going to take 10 damage for that.
And... Alright, anything else?
No.
That is.
I'm gonna step in the room. Is this a full wall here at the bottom below me?
Yeah, technically.
Okay, so yeah, I know something's going on, but I don't see what. So I'll come up to the edge of this corner here, quickly assess the situation, see Arid if they're near whatever black water, and I'm gonna take my hand and kind of make like a ringing motion, like I'm ringing a bell, and cast Toll the Dead on the one by Erda. Fuck me. That is ridiculous. I bet that motherfucker's got no wisdom, too.
-2, it looks like.
Yeah, -2.
Oh, I didn't even look. Yeah. Son of a bitch.
So, as you make this ethereal, ghostly bell appear around it, ringing out silently for Air expecting some sort of action, there's absolutely nothing. It appears to not even notice the spectral form, and as you do so, it simply just kind of lurches out and starts wrapping itself, slamming into Air.
I'm going to use shield on that.
Makes sense.
It's legit. It's a lot of damage.
Maybe back up.
You know.
So, you guys watch as this thing just previously like sliding along the floor, just suddenly kind of full force comes up, almost taking on a size and shape similar to Air to Death, if not for this arcane shield that warps around him, blocking it off momentarily. You're not sure what exactly would have done, but you have an idea, given what you've seen. And oh no, I gotta move the other one, and then it goes to Hobble.
Oh, is that that output is weird for everyone else, right? That's not just like messing on me, because that's an SID.
No, it looks weird.
Yeah, that's just from SID.
I don't even know where. I didn't even know red could happen, so yeah, that's definitely different.
I mean, I know how to do that, but like that's
Just don't know if I think you're in enough trouble to help you.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'll keep. What's the Quetzal doing? Is it still purifying?
It's kind of no. I mean, at this point, it's coiled around the top of the column, just peering down at this thing.
Oh, the one in the. Oh, I see it. Oh, it has a little token now.
It's always had a little token.
Okay, so this pool on the far right is cleansed.
No, neither.
These
of those two.
two.
Just the one to the left of the.
Oh, the one to the left is cleansed. Okay.
Oh wait, I can take those off. Fancy. What a concept.
Production values through the roof.
Okay, I'm just gonna firebolt this one again.
Same one that's on Air to Death, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Quickly just let out a bolt of flame, slamming into the ground, kind of right beneath the thing as it simmers and catches full of putrid, kind of bubbling, heated liquid just disperse around that area.
And I'm gonna send my Raven over to help Air Death.
That's like something that's being tracked on the forum, or what?
No idea. But all the imports are in the wrong format, so it doesn't go first level, it's level 1. So it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any idea to pass that. So you have to change one of the things and it updates some of them. But yeah, not automatically.
Alright. The shield.
I think the shield's gonna go for it. She'll come in, and she'll go in with a new fancy magical sword, which she hadn't got in for. Great. Oh, there you go.
Alright, I need to look up one
Nice.
thing, I suppose. Goddamn, that's a solid roll.
Right.
Maybe we don't need Alice here after all.
Nah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, 50 total.
50
that.
damage. Damn.
Whoops. I wasn't-
Okay.
Oh, how
What
interesting.
the fuck is passive religion?
all your skills are passive score.
Oh, are they? Well, see, mine just says religion.
Yeah, you have to click passive skills on. I don't know where they are on my sheet, but they are. Anyway, carry on.
So that's interesting. Yeah, as she comes swinging in with Oatek, kind of in her blind fury, just warps right through it. You see, as much as it, the magic kind of igniting, sparking off of it, this thing just kind of slides around it, immediately reforming along the other side. As she hits the ground, it bursts in this radiant energy, and that seems to dissolve and eat away at the thing, but other than that, it doesn't seem to have any effect on the sword itself.
Thought so, but yep. That's noticeable across around us, right?
Yeah, I mean, you both very clearly noticed this. You would have noticed it after your attack, but this very much solidified that. And it takes 6.
What the fuck?
I thought that was an SRD error, but apparently not. It's on air death.
Okay, so I'm going to shift around slightly, and I'm just going to measure it now for a thing. I'm going to cast Thunder Wave on both these guys. Oh, fuck me. I don't need a token, I've already got them in range, it's fine.
Well, it looks cool. So you get it.
Thank you. Anyway, so DC 15 con save, all push back. You're gonna pass all of them. Oh, hey, here you go.
Yeah, so the second furthest one, as you slam it on the first one, it kind of just gets slammed into the wall and lurches back off. The further one, still up top on the risen platform, gets fully taken by the force of this thunder wave. What is it? 10 feet.
8.
Did it appear to take damage?
If so, it seemed very minor as the it's a thunder. Yeah, I mean, as the booming kind of electrical energy slams into it, you see part of it start to evaporate, but it didn't appear to do much. It's kind of just on the outskirts.
The periphery.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's my turn, I think.
Thaddeus?
Well, and I'm just gonna hit it with a regular dagger now. Okay. I'm gonna attempt Toll the Dead again on the one in between those two. Thank God it's not at full health. Fail it, you motherfucker.
Sorry, I always get confused. I'm always like, where's my button to click? And there is none, because Earl's a dick.
There's no wisdom on your sheet
There's
there?
no wisdom
No, that's what
button
we
on
mean.
your chat roll.
If you look at mine where it says that pink constitution thing, if he clicks that, it rolls the save automatically for him.
I got you. Yeah, alright, I can add that.
Yeah, you better.
I'll do it. Just for you if you fail.
Alright.
Alright, done.
Just this once, that way you do it. Then you're fucked.
Sounds
Is that just on the one? Yeah.
yeah, because the other one's not close. And I'm not 20.
So,
20.
yep. So, this time as the, oh yeah, 21, alright. This time as the bell kind of warps around it, rings out, you see this thing sort of contract inwards. There's this hissing sound similar to when it was being sort of evaporated by the, God, I keep drawing a blank, the creature thing. Using its magic on it. 21 damage.
Use my magic on the creature thing.
Magic on the creature thing.
That's how we do.
Alright. at this point, it's looking about half the size it was when it first kind of took shape.
Okay.
On to it.
I will take note of that, and that's the end of my turn.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to continue on Erda. Same as it did before. Will not hit. This time as it goes slamming and forming up, and you quickly dash out of the side of the thing. It's not too terribly quick. The other one...
It's intense acid damage right there. Not about that.
This one heading over for Le Shield.
That's gonna miss. She's 17 now.
Whew, good thing for that armor upgrade.
She is.
And that's it for them. Hobble, it's back to you.
And I'm just going to keep firebolting the one between Erdith and the shield.
Point you definitely hitting this time with Erdith stepped out of the way. Very clear shot. You just slams it straight between the two of them, hitting it for 14 with you more of it. Start to sizzle and churn away, eating away at its form. It's on the shield.
What does the shield do here? Her divine thing still did stuff, so I think she would probably still attack. She's gonna go in with that great not a great axe, she's got a sword. She's got a button for her thing.
Oops,
really
I
annoying.
didn't mean to do that.
She's gonna miss with that attack.
Hit
Hit with that one though. So let's go just 4.
Just 4. She continues to just swing in, perhaps even slightly oblivious to the fact that it's not doing anything. Warp of minor explosion of radiant damage seems to eat away at it, but it's still up, still has quite a sizable form about it. It's on air death.
I think seeing that this is not really working, I think I'm going to charge up my sword with electrical energy, and I'm going to blow some Eldritch Blast into it. Except I won't do it from that macro because it's referencing the wrong sheet. Yay.
Why is it the referencing the wrong sheet?
Because I've made a character with the same name, and the new one for some reason went higher than the old one, which means
There's that, like just on the handouts?
No, it's like even in the listings for the chat. Like my new one is higher than the old one for no good reason. So the first one's gonna be 25 to hit for 3 force damage. The second one's gonna be a 10 for 9.
Are you level 5?
I'm level 6.
Oh, so you're doing the 2. Okay, you did the 2 beams.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just let out both shots. Both are going into the one in front of you?
Yeah. So basically, I'm just like swinging the sword, and like instead of contacting it, just the blasts are like shooting off in like slicing arcs. So
okay. As you arc with the sword, these energy just pure raw slams into them. You see him, bits and chunks just start to flail off and sort of evaporate mid-air from the damage. What is it, 12 total? And it goes Thaddeus.
Let me stop talking to myself. Okay. I am going to... I guess I'm just going to do Chill Touch, and they look like they're within 5 feet of each other. Yeah, so I'm going to get both of them. Well, one of them, maybe. The left one is the first one.
But no, I mean that would hit a zombie.
They both hit. So, as you
Shut up. Wow.
AC 7, baby. It's not hard to hit a puddle.
Yeah, -3 dex.
So, yeah. You let out these. Actually, no, it's chill touch. Yeah, just these two hands immediately come up out of the ground, coiling around these things. You see the first one taking 16 on the left. As the hand kind of comes in and just starts crunching down, you see the fingertips of the skeletal hand start to burn away and slowly kind of pull through it. What remains suddenly just disperses into more watery liquid that after a second starts to evaporate.
So it okay, it's gone. Cool.
Second one takes 9.
Okay.
Just 9. Oh, I kicked it off the initiative. I think he was after you, right? It was supposed to be him next. Yeah. So it's dead last. Okay, not Hobble, me. This thing, oblivious to anything, just continues to go into Michiel. Good thing not hitting, as Michiel kind of just sees that corner of her eye, immediately moves up out of the way, lifting her foot just in time to avoid the attack. Hobble, on your turn, the summoned creature, now with that one dead, immediately kind of uncoils itself from the column, darts back down to this pool, and starts doing its thing.
I'm squid it.
Oh man, that would have knocked Michiel unconscious.
Didn't even need bludgeoning damage.
What are you doing, Hobble?
Let's just keep firebolting. Shoot one at this other puddle.
Pew pew. 15 will hit. It's one not quite as potent as the combination of columns, the shield being in the way, kind of warping the attack around the area, slams into it and starts to sort of churn away at it, making this putrid scent and smell. Oh, I never, that's okay, whatever. Onto the shield. That takes 10 from the fire.
Yeah, I think the shield's going to carry on doing the same, to be honest. She can't really move anywhere, and she's not one to run away. So it's going to be 6's turn. I won't bother with the second attack. She makes it, obviously, but, you know.
Okay. Not that she would want to anyways. Got to do this on the last ones, but that's my bad. Takes 6 acid damage. She swings in with the weapon and disperses around the radiant explosion. Parts of it start to just flail off onto her, catching her skin, immediately corroding away at her flesh. You hear the shield let out, kind of feline scream, and it's on air death.
Okay, so I'm going to hold out my sword and just let out more blast waves from the weapon. That's the one in front of me. Fucking terrible damage. 7 damage total. And for my bonus action, I will cast Healing Word on the shield. That's that.
Okay, as you swing out with your weapon, letting out these charged blasts, slamming away this pudding. In that brief moment, you put out a hand towards her, see her sort of regain some sort of mentality of life. She's fucked up, so I mean, it's just life at this point, right? She's fucked up. And it's on Thaddeus. There's no good way to put that.
Seeing Erida, kind of put some life back into her, Thaddeus is going to think that's a good idea. and he's going to do the same.
She should have actually taken 2d8 more, I think. So she'd be real bad, had I remembered.
What was that?
Said I forgot to do 2 attacks too. She should have taken another 2d8, but that was my bad.
Alright, so, and after that, I'm going to try to Toll the Dead on this guy as well. Yeah, no, that looks retarded. There's nothing I can do. You want to hit your button.
That's terrible. I wish I had to do that.
Yeah, I don't know why they put saving throw in the middle of attack and other damage. That makes no sense. Like, the damage should be together.
It totally does. It makes so much sense. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to distinguish what damage is from the saving throw.
Oh, because it's like that is the damage from the saving throw. Is how it's supposed to be used. I guess.
Well, I told you I'd give you that one chance, and then I would succeed the rest.
Screw you.
So as you Bell warps into existence,
Taking it back.
no one hearing anything, it seems ineffective. Creature just continuing on. And it will continue on. I mean, good thing you guys healed her. This time, as it just pounds into her at full force, completely ignoring that bell, the blast back. You see the sink sort of wrap around her momentarily. She screams and kind of pulls herself free, but not before taking a tremendous amount of damage. And as she pulls out and you guys look at her, you can see her armor starting to dissolve around her. I believe it's just -1. I should hope it's just -1.
I'm pretty sure. I think it's cumulative -1 every time.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Just making sure it wasn't a save or anything.
That's how oozes usually work. They're nasty.
Okay. And it's on Hobble.
Seeing this and that the shield is fucked up, I am going to hope against hope that she does the smart thing, and I am going to have my raven perch on her shoulder, and through my raven, I will cast invisibility on Lachelle.
Alright.
And I yell, "Lachelle, run!"
I'm not sure what her reaction is as she just blinks out of existence. And that's it, it's on to her.
I think she's going to take the advice. She's going to, like, stagger off. There's probably as she heads up over this way.
Okay. And I don't
How high is this ledge?
each of the ledges are around 4 feet high.
Alright.
Okay. She quickly takes off that direction. The rest of you, Thaddeus and Hobble, you can see, well, not Lachelle, I mean, you can hear her stampeding across the floor, kind of echoing along the chamber, and you can see this seeming kind of misty steam billowing off her. The acid still eats and corrodes through her armor, just appearing mid-air as she moves closer. Suddenly stops kind of between the two of you. Air Death's on you.
Okay, I'm going to climb up onto this surface here, and kind of hope that it's not a very good climb up. I'm going to fire off Eldritch Blast at it. So it's going to be 19 force damage from that.
19 force, alright. Quickly move up on the ledge, swing out with the weapon, 2 more blasts slam into it. You see 2 areas just sprayed across the ground, evaporates immediately. Thaddeus. How high up is your bird, Hobble?
How high is the ceiling?
Fair enough.
It would have taken off after the shield limped away, so I mean, it's not going to hang out near the thing.
Say no more.
I'm going to cast Magic Missile at this thing. Yeah.
Four, two, two, 8 damage. Stepping up, let out a flurry of just darts. Go straight into each one, kind of creating this whole like sizzle as part of it dissolves. Yeah, takes 8 force damage. It goes to it. Pretty sure air death is, yeah, you're still the closest. Standing up on higher ground, hoping that it doesn't climb, you watch as it very effortlessly clings to the wall and starts to cascade over the ledge.
There's a little sag in his shoulders for a second before he brings his sword up.
It doesn't move fast, but it does move effectively. Whew. By the time it gets there, though, you are well prepared and kind of quickly just move out of the way. Hobble.
Just scoot out from behind Thaddeus a little bit and I'll firebolt it.
Scoot out.
It's hot.
Definitely gonna hit for 19 with that. I mean, oh geez, not minus 191. That's not how that works. Yeah, you see this massive just burst of fire, smoke billowing off as this thing sort of begins to dissolve in this much smaller form. Hardly anything left. It's still up and seemingly trying to grow back in size, but there's not much left of it. It's onto the shield, who I assume is lingering.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna do very much this time.
On you then.
Gonna carry on the Eldritch Blasting. Oh, 2 and 7, 9 damage.
I would have laughed my ass off had you not killed it, but you do it. Stepping back, let out both bolts straight into it. What little is left just all across the area, dissolves into the air. As you finish it off, the goodness, I think it just died inside. Alright, I'm good. Whoa. Still would have fucked me up, dude.
Probably has nothing to do with the spaghetti or
No,
the sand.
It was the carbonation. Thank you very much.
Right, yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't know where Ty lives if we need to call 911.
Gotta do that E911.
So,
Tracing through his Twitch account.
yeah. Creature just darts off immediately, taking off to the next one, arcing around the side of this lip. It's gone. As you guys stand there, the combat over, waiting, prepared for anything else that comes out. This thing seems to act rapidly enough as the rain trickles off of it, evaporating liquid inside. It slowly but surely returns. You guys are out of combat.
Right.
The hell were those things?
I don't know, they were different from the others. They didn't have any shape. We couldn't cut them, they just reformed.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
They didn't come out to attack us like the other ones did in Narwhal. This one seemed to respond to whatever this little Quetzal was doing to them.
Yeah,
Do
like
you
they
think-
were fighting back.
Yeah, do you think they were maybe like some kind of corrupting spirit that was what was the cause of the blackness in these pools?
I wonder if they maybe just weren't ready. Maybe if they were...
That's what I'm thinking, is that we put pressure on them. And they didn't have time to fully form.
Undeveloped spawn, I see.
But maybe Thaddeus is right. If these creatures are corrupting the breeding pools of the lizardkin, then maybe there just weren't any lizardkin to corrupt in these, and those things were the true form of this entity. Can I Arcana check the little Quetzal and see if I can identify what it was doing to the pools?
Yeah,
It was casting a spell. I just don't know what spell.
Sorry. So, as you kind of just moving up to the nearest kind of pools of water, you see that the magic that was dripping off of it still lingering. It's slightly still casting this shining glow about the pool itself as some sparks, not sparks, but just subtle sparkling, really. The water looks on point now. Although you're apprehensive to taste it, given what was just inside of it. But as you, oh shit. But as you kind of move towards it, recalling previous training, and although this seems to be a different kind of magic than you're familiar with, it seems very similar to Dispel magic.
Okay, good to know. I'm going to tell that to Air Death. I mean, I'll say it to the party, but I'm looking at Air Death just because I've seen him cast spells that I know, so I'm not super sure what he's about, but he's at least a magic user and seems to be proficient in a way that Thaddeus is not. Not that Thaddeus is proficient.
No, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't
you
know
cast spells. You cast spells I don't know, and I know Air Death spells a little for the most part. I know shield at least.
I have shield.
I just announced to Air Death and Thaddeus. Looked like it was just dispelling the magic. I don't know if there was anything special about it, or if these pools are just magical in essence.
Maybe. I'm still not entirely clear on the mechanism they're using to corrupt the pools, so maybe it's a curse?
I want to investigate the pool and see if there's any lingering essence of the corruption.
Yeah, I mean, if you said you were going to do that, I would help you out.
Sure. You mean investigation?
So if there's some lingering essence of corruption.
So nice of you to direct your actions, Hobble. I will gladly help you with this task.
Did I miss the roll?
What am I rolling?
Investigation.
$27, baby.
Yep. Kind of quickly peering down into it, there seems to be no lingering traces. As far as you can tell, whatever, or what you presume to be Dispel magic seemed to clear whatever was in here right up.
I would like to drink the water.
Thaddeus becomes very intently interested in that.
His ears immediately just...
What?
Sorry, what did you say? Hobble who narrates his own actions?
Right. I, Hobble, am now going to drink the water.
Oh my god, that'd be a great character.
Expectations are...
So, you cup your hands, take a small sip of the water, and it's good. It's good. But it's not divination water good. Little in this world is, as you've become increasingly aware.
I turn back to Thaddeus and just shake my head.
Thaddeus is just immediately downtrodden. He's just disappointed.
Alright, I walk dejectedly back to Lashiel and Thaddeus. My raven is perched on my shoulder. My Quetzal is coiled around my neck like a fashionable necklace.
How big is this thing compared to how?
The,
Is it like snake size, like a boa, or something small?
about like that, yeah. I mean, it's small. Snake with wings, basically, is what it is. Just scaled and whatnot.
So nothing like a python or a boa or nothing that size, just like a garden snake or something.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I want to wear it like, what's it called? The bandolier? The thing that Chewie wears with the ammo? I'm wearing it like a bandolier.
What is it, biting its own tail or something?
Yes, an Ouroboros.
Gotcha.
Listen, Hobble's seen Full Metal Alchemist. He knows. It looks like there's a passageway over further east.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to investigate that, but at a certain point, we may just hit where we originally found that gate. We know that there were enemies on the other side, but how far removed are they? If we travel down this hallway into the bloody room, will anything even be able to hear us?
I mean, it looks pretty narrow.
Yeah.
If you give me just 20 seconds, I can at least peek around and see where it goes.
I can send my raven. There's no reason to put yourself in danger.
Okay, well, if you're happy to do it.
Alright, I'll take control of my raven again and just fly down this hallway off to the right.
I'm going to stay at the edge here, just in case anything decides to pursue its raven.
I'm keeping watch from behind.
Okay. As the raven goes flying down the hall, you see it stretches about 50 feet long. Periodically, on 3 different areas, there's this same sort of circular offset embedded into the walls. Each one has this sort of plinth. It looks like there might have been statues intended to have been here, but nothing appears to be erected there in any way. As you continue on towards the end of the hallway, you see it branches off into a sort of another T shape. One seems to connect with the larger room, stairwell going down, and the large sound of running water. Another seems to continue northward.
Okay, I'll fly my... And there's no... I don't see any black pools or lizardkin.
No pools at all.
Okay, I'll fly my raven back. And call out to Air Death and say, looks like we're clear. If there are any enemies lurking, then they're extremely far away.
Alright, then should we descend? I mean, the shield is looking very hard. I know we're on a time frame here, but even she can't deny how badly wounded she is.
You hear her mutter under her breath something about not wounded enough to murder Hank.
Hank.
Yeah, that's really all you make out of Hank.
I have a potion of healing I can give to her, but that might not be enough. If Thaddeus can't bring her further back up to speed, then is it worth taking a rest? It sounds like we're on a time limit, but if Throkon isn't even here, then maybe we're safe to take a breather.
No, the real issue here is that we're obviously in a very dangerous place. If we were able to, I don't know, at least defend this area a little more, make it so that we can just stop things coming in from one way. We might be able to snatch an hour. I mean, an hour's not going to lose anything, is it?
Yeah.
How high is the ceiling over this door?
Ceilings in here pretty consistently along the hallways and whatnot, about 10 feet tall.
I can create an illusory door around that hallway, but it won't reach the top of the ceiling. Other than that, there's nothing for it. I can send my raven down to the end of the hallway and just act as the sentry. It's a narrow enough hallway to fill with various means of slowing an enemy if they come down.
Thaddeus has been pretty intently watching the rear here, but he's going to come up and say, I don't know if it would help, but I got like 5 healing potions right here in my bag.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But she is terribly wounded. Also, that's a lot of money you're carrying.
Yeah, I grabbed them for us at some point, but yeah, I need to divvy these out. As a matter of fact, here, everybody, why don't y'all take one of these? And I'll give everybody one. And
I'm fine to give mine to Lashia, as well as the potion I already have in my bag. We've wasted too much time in this temple with various passings out and channeling spells.
Okay. Would I know if there's any side effects from consuming that amount of healing potion? Like, because that is a lot of medicine.
Give me an Arcana check.
I like that side effect. I mean, it's not
if
in the
you do
book.
take too many of certain potions, they do kill you. So, legitimate question.
You've never experienced this conundrum? You're not entirely sure. It's not something
I don't
that
think I've ever had one. I don't think I've ever taken any potions.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not aware of anyone who's consumed this many. I mean, the act of consuming one is rare in itself, let alone this number, so you have no fucking clue what the side effects could be.
What are we expecting to face down there? I mean, it's just records, right? That's all we were expecting? I mean, he had to unlock it, right? I mean, there shouldn't even be guards down there.
Based on the amount of blood, if anything survived, it might attack out of fear. And it's possible that Throkon left some sort of sentry in case anyone pursued him. He knew that Croctorcon was looking for him.
Alright, I mean, I don't know what drinking that many potions will do to her, if she'll be capable of fighting, if she'll even survive it. I don't know it's safe to take 5 or 6 healing potions in one sitting.
When he says that, can I roll? Am I familiar with the effect of too many healing potions?
Take an Arcana.
How horrible that was.
Yeah, I mean...
I am a healing potion.
You, your college years, you had a number of, shall we call them colleagues or acquaintances, and you know there was plenty of hearsay regarding this stuff. In all your years of reading textbooks, there was studies and the sorts of healing potion consumption, and well, in your years of being there, there's at least one student, hopefully just one, that you're aware of, that decided to test this out for himself. You don't recall hearing from him again.
I'm gonna put the healing potion that I did have that I was holding out to Lasheel. I'm gonna tuck it back in my bag and say, "Yeah, you know what? Come to think of it, maybe we'll just let's just relax. If we're afraid that anything's gonna be in that basement, we should take a breather. Let Lasheel recover naturally."
Alright. I mean, she can take at least 1 or 2, I guess, but
Yeah, no more than that. No more than that.
Happy to give him mine. I don't care about mine. Also, I'm going to get out some chalk and I'm going to draw out the same runes on the floor. Let's say if she sits in here, this will help her heal better.
So I gave Michelle 1 healing potion. Is that right, or did she have 2 from somewhere else?
Well, you just handed them out. I've given my one to her, and I'm assuming she already had one actually. I don't know. But anyway, you give one to her as well, I suppose, so she'll use that one, I guess. That's fine. Yeah. What's it? 2d4 plus 4? Is that what it is? Or was it 2d4 plus 2? I can't remember.
2d4 plus 2.
It's actually good that I get a spell slot back for this.
Mm.
I don't think anyone else hurt, are they? We're all pretty good.
I mean, she can rage too, so she's effectively got double, so yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think we're good to go.
The shield has no hit dice.
Oh, no.
Does she really not have hit dice, or is that
She really doesn't, because she used 3 that she got from her long rest at the temple, I remember now.
She'll have 1 from the level up, and that's it.
Oh, that's true, she got a level up 1.
Well, and you'll be long resting, so you'll get
We're
half
not
back.
long resting.
No, we're not long resting.
Oh, you just short rest.
Short resting. And she gets 5 more from my healing circle. So she's on 32, that's definitely not bad.
Could be worse. That's for sure.
Very, very easily worse.
So,
I was going to check what her level 6 feature is for Barbarian as well, because...
her level 6 feature for that is the automatic pass one.
Oh, okay, fair enough, cool, yeah.
The owning in on her fanatical focus, I think it's called? Yeah, fanatical focus. That was the whole point for focusing in last week with that weapon. So,
Indeed.
as you guys all kind of, how will I assume you put up like the illusion on the door and whatnot?
I think we were going to have the Raven stay in that corridor to keep an eye out instead, because you couldn't cover it all.
It's going to be a sentry.
Okay. So, as you guys kind of set up and you're not long resting anyways, you're all there and fairly attentive to your surroundings. You simply gather yourselves for around an hour. There's no sounds of anything else coming throughout these various corridors until the last leg of your rest, which about, you guesstimate, maybe 50 minutes or so. You hear this deep rumbling sound. Seems to come from far beneath you. For a moment, it blots out the sound of the falling water from the adjacent large chamber, and all you hear coming up from the bowels is this. There's no movement or shaking that accompanies it, simply this low rumbling. It lasts for maybe 5-10 seconds at most and then stops. You wait the remainder 10 minutes or so for anything to happen, anything to change, and nothing does.
Take a look over at Air Death. Say, it doesn't sound like nothing to me.
No, me neither.
When we go down there, we have to be ready for the worst. I guess that was a loud noise. If Throcon's not down there anymore, then something is.
Indeed. I'm going to go, like, wading into the water. How deep is this bit here? It's not crazy deep, is it?
Yeah, that water's not deep at all.
How deep we're talking? Like, will it go up to my waist?
Yeah, probably around your waist. It's probably 3.5 feet or so.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm going to submerge like most of my chest in the water as well, and I'm going to cast a 3rd level armor Agathis to go down there with. I'm going to come out. It's just like far more frost than there was before on this armor. It's just mostly made of ice now.
Alright, anyone else?
I already have mage armor up. I'm just going to take note of Air Death being covered in ice and seeming totally fine with it.
Nice bean, baby.
Yeah, I got nothing else to do.
Alright, well, I think we've spent long enough. Something's really happening downstairs. We can't linger too much longer.
I agree. Let's go investigate. This is what we came here for.
I'm just going to get to the edge here and just have a little quick listen before we go any further. Just any other signs of anything that I can hear.
Stand there for a moment. There's nothing though. You're gonna put your ear to the wall and just peer over. The only thing you hear is the constant fall of water. It seems to hit the ground far below.
It's a long way down. I can't hear anything else here though.
Let's keep going. We have to investigate anyway. There's some information in here that we need.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm gonna start heading over. Waiting for the rest of the group to catch up, obviously. But
okay. As everyone follows, I assume Thaddeus is coming along for the journey. As you make your way into this larger chamber, you can see, I mean, you saw it from afar, but in the gore spilt out across the ground, you see entrails strewn about, cleaved through, people who looked as though they were impaled along the columns, pulled out and slowly slipped down. These temple guard easily, a half a dozen of them, littered across the chamber, blood falling in a trail that seems to wrap up this staircase onto the ledge and continue down the spiraling staircase.
I am not sure that Thorkhan did this.
Sure else, if not him.
Just look at it though. This is animal. It's not even. It's way more hateful. Look at it. Look at what he's done to these creatures.
He was deranged when we left him. He almost tore us apart, and who knows if he had recovered any by the time he got here. If he was truly...
He should have been hurt as well. I mean, he seems to have rampaged through here, killing what they're, I'm assuming, elite guards of their temple, and he's done so in a pretty brutal fashion. They didn't stand a chance. Look at them.
So what's the, what does this room look like? This looks like the altar in the previous rooms that we've been in. Is this ornamented in any way, or is it just sort of a plain room?
The room itself it's not plain. As you come in, you can see that overall, compared to like the room that you had that total vision swap in, it's a bit smaller. Obviously, there's this large font of water along the exterior and this outer ring etched in kind of gold that spans the outside. Up top where the staircase seems to descend, it looks as though there might have been an altar or plinth or something there, but it has since collapsed into the staircase. As for the walls and the ceiling, there are all sorts of images in here. It looks like one almost collective amalgamation of wars, battles. You recognize the Lizardkin, many of the other races on here, the the minotaurs and the orcs, goblins, and all those things, but against them, these other creatures that it's almost incomprehensible to you. You saw creatures you weren't aware of in the other chambers, things that they were bestial, but you just hadn't encountered them. These, however, they're almost like the oozes, seemingly shapeless but terrifying. The more you look at them, it's horrific. You're not really sure how to comprehend them.
I wonder if Throkon was never controlling the creatures, the black lizardkin in the pools or the oozes we fought. I wonder if he allied with them.
I wonder if they're controlling him.
They would have had the strength to do this for what they did to Lasheel. If they had taken the guards here by surprise, or if Throkon had let them in and the guards had assumed that he was just one of them, then I could see this massacre happening.
Worse, what if the black ones, maybe there were some like the larger lizard than before? Can't imagine what something like that would do. Are there any like traces of goo on the floor? Like any like droplets maybe that might have fallen off? Because they were already slimy when we fought before, and like bits were slopping off and shit.
Give me an investigation. So, as you look around, there's no signs of the same sort of goo. I mean, you recall in the last room that although it was kind of like being flung around, it was almost immediately evaporating into this black mist, leaving hardly any trace. But you do pretty quickly pick up that many of the wounds that these guys have suffered, very obviously three-pronged, many of them, where they appear to have been skewered. They also seem to be corroded, and you can see in certain areas where the skin has taken on this more brackish appearance, similar to the, as Thaddeus put it, corrupted ones in the other chambers.
I mean, looking at these wounds here, it looks like maybe Throkon was at least here. And that looks like a trident wound, right? At least to me. But it's rotted.
I think whatever he was doing, he had the help of the ooze. I had assumed that he was controlling it or corroding the pools in some power of his own, but now I'm not too sure. Maybe that's what he came here to learn, more about how to control the power that he stumbled upon, or how to betray his current ally. To make him stronger. If his only goal is Kingsport and the rise of the Lizardkin, then maybe he doesn't care how he does it or what cost it comes to him.
Right, well...
In any case, we're not going to learn staring at this mess.
No, quite. There we go. And I guess we start making a slow descent into the spiral staircase.
Okay.
I'll follow after him.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second.
So, as you guys make your way down the staircase, it's tight, compact, but it grows a bit. It's... In fact, everyone give me a perception. Okay, so as you guys make your way down, collectively, you take note that even at the top of the stairs, where at most it's 10 feet of an opening, you notice that this vertical spiraling column seems to be almost demolished in some way. You see the outer walls seemingly crushed and broken outwards, as if something much larger had made its way down here, pummeling through the walls, making it sizable enough to move through. Many of the steps are cracked and upheaved, and you have to be careful to maintain your balance as you make your way down the shaft. You can tell as you move down that there's this red hue about the stone. Very quickly make out that it's still this same trail of blood, slick, almost causing you to slip on more than one occasion. It's not dried by any means. You make your way down, and it takes a while. It seems to descend. It takes an eternity. But eventually, you come to the end. And you walk out into this much larger area. You see the blood as it reaches the bottom of the stairs start to fan out and moves, continuing in a sort of trail. Heads down a staircase just beneath you. You guys all have a dark vision. While the room is gloomy, no light intercepting the area as it does up above through the various sun shafts. You see what is essentially a square room, a large column of water in the center. As you peer into it, it looks normal. It doesn't seem dark and brackish, corrupted, but it doesn't seem mystical and divination water. It seems almost generic. Let me pull you guys over.
Like grocery store brand shit.
Yeah, let me take off that. Oh, I don't have it on. Ew. Yeah. Awkward. Where are you? I don't have you guys out. Yeah, it's definitely grocery store brand. Oh shit, no, I don't know which air death to use.
Okay, so the top edit I think is my new one. Give me a second. No, it's not. The bottom one is my new one. You can delete the top one now. I just need a token on it. The same one.
Oh, gross.
Ew.
Okay. Well, that's what you get for now.
Oh, what? But I'm huge.
I'm gonna fix it.
What the fuck are you doing over there, Death? Where'd those mountains come from?
It's just my happy place, man. That's all it was. So I hate this place so much.
You just walk around with a backdrop behind you, like posing for a painting all the time.
Edit to Cylon. You can just you can imagine stuff in a different place entirely.
So you want that link down the bottom? Let's see if it'll let me. Maybe. So it's the bottom one, right?
I also have my shield out for this section, by the way.
Okay, so you guys come down into this chamber. It's dark, gloomy. There's no signs of life. As you look around, you can immediately spot the trail of blood. It seems to head off southwards in a small passage, one of two, leading off in two entirely different directions.
I don't like this place, guys.
I'm going to dismiss my raven after I get down. It can't see, so I'd rather not lose it.
Ravens don't have dark vision? You can't see in the dark?
No, we ran into this before.
They're bitches.
Get yourself an owl.
I had a bat before.
That's perfect. It's got blinds.
Yeah. And owls have like 125 flyby than the bomb.
Can you just get rid of the Raven real quick and call Al over here?
No, I have to dismiss it and reset.
Expensive material components for that stuff. Alright, so which direction? Is there any indication which direction the things went when they came down, since they're smearing blood and shit everywhere?
Oh yeah, you saw on the map.
Maybe blood and shit.
There's most definitely blood that seems
I
to
see
trail
what you
off.
mean. I was too
the south.
zoomed in.
It seems staggered, but you can tell it is almost foot length apart for the majority of it. But beyond that, there's this kind of offshoot. You see much more spread out, what look to be large just impacts in the ground where the stone has been kind of crushed in. Next to that, there are also large streaks of blood following that path, but both seem to lead down.
How deep is the water next to us?
It's shallow. 5 feet.
I'll worry about that. The blood leads this way.
We're gonna follow the blood trail, aren't we?
I mean,
You don't sound very
He knew we were
excited,
going.
Thaddeus.
What's that?
I would say if he knew where he was going, there's no point going the other way, right?
Let's go.
And we seem to be in a situation where if we go the other way, we just won't find what we're looking for.
I know.
I just can't
Seems like we're
imagine.
always following blood somewhere.
I just can't imagine what we're gonna find. We were told that Throcon made it out, but I don't see how that could be possible. There was no blood. There was no blood trail, at least by the time we got here, unless this is not his blood. He took substantial damage getting down here.
Yeah. Peeking through, I can't see anything, so I guess we continue. I think we're going slowly and stealthily, right? So,
Yeah.
play some subjects.
So, yeah, everyone go ahead and make stealth checks. As you're moving through that doorway, Howell, as you're kind of just reaching that arch, you notice very subtly along the walls of this central chamber images carved in, similar to up above, but far more crude, less deep, less clarified. You almost entirely miss them given the darkness of the chamber and just how barely they seem to be etched in. But as you look and kind of carefully just gaze along this outskirts of the room, you realize that it's almost a mirrored version of the room above.
With the oozes against everything else.
Indeed. You see, whereas before these kind of, I mean, ooze isn't even the right word. These things, you're not even sure, you can't even really comprehend them, but you see now, whereas they were kind of on the top half, the murals above the armies, the lizardkin and everything down below. In this room, it seems reversed, almost an exact mirror. These entities all lining the bottom portion of the walls, the lizard and all the other bestial races on top.
When everything looks less defined, does it look like they were worn down? Like the murals are just that old that they've sort of disintegrated over time? Or do they look like they were more hastily done? Or do they look like they were made with inferior materials?
Give me a,
Sorry, what was that?
one sec. Opening up a sheet real quick. If it'll let me. Oh my goodness, it is this game. Give me an architecture roll. What? I forgot we did that. Hey. Yes, it'll, I mean, as you kind of just glide your hands across them, I mean, it's definitely rough. It's nowhere near as smooth and perfected as the images above, but it's most definitely subtle in regards to its age. It seems much more archaic than the temples above.
All right, I'll catch up with my group and say, guys, look at the walls. Look at the images. They're faint, but these are old and dark. I think this is what CrackerCon was talking about. Something, the Lizardkin, I don't know if they unleashed whatever this is, but this is some dark stuff in history.
Yeah, maybe the ooze is exactly what CrackerCon was talking about when he said much worse than the giant monster. That it looks like they fought them, beat them back, but
Maybe they sealed them. It seems odd to me that the Lizardkin would build their temples on top of this temple. I wonder if this is the history of the Lizardkin or something else built this temple that the Lizardkin defeated.
it's unclear. The blood continues this direction. It seems to be going at a steady pace. It has purpose.
I'll keep following. I'll keep following Air Death, but I want to see if I get any little divination pings from these murals like I did before.
Okay. You continue on, and as you move through the chambers of this complex, these ruins, you see more of these murals, but many of them, just due to age and wear and tear, they're missing parts, pieces. It's hard to make out what was previously on them, although you imagine it's more the same. It seems this way throughout most of the corridors that you go through. The blood, as Erdeth said, steadily moving in a single direction.
Look at this. No hesitation. They don't pull. They don't stop. They don't go back on themselves. Whoever came through here and was hurt has been here before.
Or he was being led.
Also possible. It leads off to the right here. It stops. I'm gonna look at the ceiling.
Same. I want to investigate the area.
Give me investigation. Or perception, actually. You look up at the ceiling and nothing seems out of the ordinary. The blood, although kind of pooling in this pretty steady pace, you do see it start to sort of fade and trail off before it ends. It's not extremely abrupt. As you move up very carefully along the corner and just turn your head, you can see where the blood starts again, becoming more patchy, but still spread out evenly.
So whatever it was clearly bleeding out to the point where it's no longer bleeding so much, I think. So this is definitely not Thrakan. I mean, if it was, he would be dead.
I wonder if something healed him.
Possible, but he's still bleeding. And look at how much blood there is. I mean, he would be very weak. Particularly after facing us previously.
If there was nothing down here, then it wouldn't matter if he was that weak. He would press on, but I still think he was getting help from something. Either it was healing him or providing him with some sort of power that meant he didn't need to be healed? I mean, those oozes up above, that water, we couldn't hurt it with our weapons. Maybe they're making it so that he wouldn't take any damage from his wounds either.
Perhaps.
Could have wrapped a bandage around it, maybe. I don't.
Well, you say that. I was here.
What's my little Quetzal doing? Is it just hanging out? Is it reacting to anything?
As you've like descended further down into the chamber and started to move through, I mean it's coiled around you, and it's remained that way. But on a few occasions, it seems to almost just instinctively tighten and coil harder. Not enough to suffocate you by any means or cause any physical harm, but it's this. You gather this momentary reaction, especially as you get close to some of these pictures on the walls.
This little Quetzal, it's not doing so well down here. It's reacting to the pictures on the walls. These things were definitely not allies of the Lizardkin. Which makes me wonder why Throkon would turn to them and why they would help him in return.
Desperate, right? I don't like this. There are so many small rooms, lots of places to hide. We head to the north. The blood seems thick again.
Can I do a quick look around this area where there is no blood and see if there's anything that would give an indication as to if magic was being used to stem the bleeding, or any sort of anything that would explain why the blood is sort of lessened here?
Give me an Arcana check if you want.
You just put down a sheet, that was all.
Yeah, as you kind of move into the area and looking at where the blood stops and really just this small chamber, even without needing to cast Detect Magic, you get this just innate attunement and overbearing feeling of something very dark and sinister, very magical.
With this pile of blood in front of us, this section here, that is actually really thick like that, isn't it? I mean, it is pooled and it looks like they slowed significantly.
As you move up the stairs, it seems to stem off, especially on the most northern edge there. It seems to almost begin to pool there for a moment before it continues on down the stairs and into the next room.
I was going to lean down and touch it. How wet is this blood right now?
It's still wet. It's not dry by any means. It's given the cool air that seems to be constantly blowing through here. Some of it's dried, but it's still to the point where you can draw your finger across it and clearly see the crimson marked along your finger.
There's no way this was Throkon. If you'd already left before we arrived here, how could we have taken a rest and it'd still be wet?
If it isn't Throkon, maybe that's someone from up above. Maybe it was a survivor.
Yeah. Survivor that seemed to have a purpose.
Yeah, someone who's not been this far in for a while. They hesitate occasionally, find their way again.
You think that's why the blood is thicker in some areas than others? That in the time it took them to gain the resolve, they left more blood on the ground, but when they moved quickly, they left less?
Yeah.
That, or they might need to rest for a moment.
That too. I mean, either they got lost, or were thinking about where to go, or they were waiting for something to go away, perhaps. I mean, some of this seems to be a pretty rapid pace, others, there are large dolls of blood.
Is there anything magical about the blood?
About the blood itself, no. As you move down, try to inspect it, there's just nothing. It's hard to differentiate from the general just ambiance of this dark magic you sense, but you're pretty sure there's nothing with the blood itself.
The patches of the floor where there is no blood, do the murals on the wall look particularly different than where there is blood, or is it all mostly the same kind of ambiance?
It's all sort of the same as you move through, especially along this corridor. I mean, everything is so worn, decayed, and there's no difference between these areas and just the general atmosphere that you seem to sense.
Is the temple drinking the blood?
Not that you can tell. There's no mouth, no slurping sounds.
I'd like to roll to see if the floor is drinking the blood.
I mean, honestly, if you were moving through here and there was like a... I would get the fuck out so fast.
Before Eridith and Lachelle move off, I'm gonna get their attention and just kind of like point for Eridith to go north from where he's at, and for Lachelle to go like around to the left side, so we can kind of all go up at once.
So as you continue to move through, the blood seems, as before, it's very patchy. Some areas much lighter than others, as if stopping occurred, but it still goes in a very singular path. You make
Very odd that this place is so empty.
Well, it was locked until very recently, and it's not terribly surprising, but...
Oh, wow. Nothing.
There's a very heavy ambient magical presence in this temple. I wonder if it's being maintained by something, or if it's keeping something alive.
Or something trapped.
What is this area on the floor here? With the cracks in?
So, as you come into this chamber, still small, compact, unlike the other vast chambers above, this seems almost like an extended altar that protrudes out from the wall. It's no more than a couple feet high. In this room, you see, especially Hobble, as you look to the walls, that many of the etchings and murals on it are much more defined. You see creatures, almost more like abominations. Shapes that you can almost vaguely understand. As you look at them, perhaps trying to elicit some form of connection as you were above, you get this sudden flash. Your mind goes black, and for almost no more than a blink or two, just these very brief images of horrible creatures that seem to be skittering across the ground. You immediately flash back out of it with this searing pain in your mind. You take 1 psychic damage.
Some horse shit.
It's my horse shit.
Watch Hobble die by 1 damage.
Rage quit.
I'm gone.
You just want to play WoW.
Are you kidding me?
Just looking for an excuse.
I take random damage from shit in WoW too.
So
Then you're like, I'm out. I'm going to play D&D.
you pull back from that, and it's this raking across your mind. It takes you a second to snap out of it. All of you see this as Hobble kind of grabbing onto his head, and then slowly overcomes it.
Everything okay?
I saw visions like out above the murals on the walls were moving, but those ones they were painful. The ones above, it was like watching a moving picture, but down here they were like living creatures skittering all along the ground. Something very, very dark here. And let's keep going. Need to find what Throcon found.
As you go and make your way to the doorway leaving out of this town, there's this sudden rumbling off in the distance that echoes throughout the entirety of the chamber, winding its way towards you. It seems to continue for quite a while. It sounds like breaking rock or something slamming hard into the ground. As it subsides, there's this sort of secondary just echo that ruptures throughout the chamber. It sounds incredibly distant by the time it reaches you, but nevertheless audible.
Something falling?
Or exploding, or erupting. I think we should hurry a bit. I don't think we have as much time as we thought.
Well,
Yeah, I don't like
there's
this
a lot
one.
ahead. I know it's like something was squished.
Yeah, that's a lot of blood.
Is there like an impact on the floor or anything like that where this blood is? So like something was literally squashed?
The ground itself is kind of cracked and in disarray. There are a couple places in the room, but in the center it does look fairly impacted.
The blood carries on.
I'm gonna push Air into the middle of the room now. Time for character 4.
I want to look up and investigate the ceiling for traps.
Give me an investigation. I mean, it's not terrible. As you move up, or kind of just gazing in through the archway, looking up in the ceiling, you can see what looks to be just tiny little pegs of light, just glimmers, hardly anything, evenly spread out in rows and columns, forming a square of dots. As you own in on it, very quickly realize it appears to be some sort of jagged spiking and an offset in the ceiling that seems a half a foot lower than the rest.
I warn the party. I think it's best if we stay to the outskirts of the room, inch our way around.
Yeah, that's wise. So yeah, I'm gonna like back to the wall, try out what he said, just like sliding my way across the wall as best I can.
Okay.
Anything happen?
Nothing that you can tell. Movement goes unimpeded.
Seems fine.
I follow as best as I can right in his footsteps.
I'm going to go from here and I'm going to jump onto the staircase if I can. And then jump down to that wall, behind that wall. Keeping it, basically staying up the floor as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Against the corner. And then from the corner, I shoot back across the wall. Yeah. Go around for a couple of feet and try into the middle.
Okay. The rest of you watch as skirting along the walls, their death seems to pass by without incident, keeping closely to the side, touching no more than the most outer kind of tiles. Nothing seems to change.
I'll follow.
She just jumps across the whole fucking thing. She's got like a 50 million foot jump distance.
It's true. She waits for all of you to pass and look back at her, and then she just vaults over the entirety of the room.
Pretty sure she can actually. She can definitely reach that.
Yeah. She gives you all this very sly smirk and then kind of takes the lead on following the blood. At this point, as you follow the blood very clearly into this next room, you hear the subtle cresting of water. You see the blood stop at what looks to be a large vertical pool. Or, not vertical, but on screen it's vertical. It seems to be pulled up here for a moment and then stop abruptly at the edge. As you look into the water, you can see the backside of a large body swaying,
Fat ass.
motionless in the pool. You only see its backside, heavily scaled, dark coloration, jagged spikes growing out the back.
Just look like one of the corrupted lizard men.
Sounds like it.
Give me a perception.
Let's do it. Not that we need it.
Oh, jeez. Those are some spicy rolls. You inch just ever so slightly closer, just to the edge of the end of this hallway, and peering down on it, you get the feeling that it's much larger than the lizardkin you saw upstairs, and yet it bears on the backside of it and the shoulders, although mostly eaten away and melded into its flesh, the same armor of the temple guard. As you stand there looking at it, there's a sudden jolt, and you see the water wade out. It stops for a second, and then a second thing bursts out of the water, black ichor splayed all over the place, and I need everyone to roll initiative.
Yes, sir. They were some good rolls.
Hell yeah, they were much better than last time. Except for poor Hobble. Erda, you are first to react as this thing bursts out of the water, letting out this tremendous roar, facing the other direction at the moment. This, oh geez, so many times. You see this thing as it kind of reaches up to full height. It is almost the same height and size, the same bulk as the creatures maneuvering the pallets along the river, except much darker skin. You can see it almost hulking, almost looking as though it's tearing out of the armor that it previously wore. At this point, it's just heaving up and down, thrashing through the water as it pulls itself upwards. You're first to react.
Okay, my first move is to run, like 5 feet into the room, and I'm going to lay a Hexblade's Curse on it for my bonus action. And then I'm going to start running up this way. So that's going to be roughly 20 feet my movement there. And another 10. As I'm running, I'm going to be shooting Eldritch Blasts at this player. That's one quick on it. And the second one. So that's 2 hits. He takes an extra 3 from each. So that's 16 damage in total.
16. All right. You come running up along the side, hexing it. Swing with your weapon. 2 blasts that slam straight into its shoulder. You see bits of flesh just burst out as it kind of stumbles off to the right, turns around, makes eye contact with you, and just starts bellowing. Goes to Lachille.
So I think the shooter's actually going to go javelin first. She's going to use her final rage of the day. And she's going to go a couple of javelins first. It's probably going to miss. And also going to miss. But she's going to be running around this side. So she's going to probably get like right up there.
Of course it's more spaghetti.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I told you I made
How much
enough
spaghetti
just
in
for
there?
me.
How do you hold this much food, dude?
But it makes me worse with like Ty isn't even like tall. Like if he was like a really big person, it's like, oh, you know what? Actually, it's fine. It's just he's got a big appetite because he's like 6'5" or whatever.
Nope,
It's
nope.
like no.
I'm 5'7" and only like 140 pounds on a good day.
I'm
Most of it's
6'5"
food.
and heavy, man, and I don't eat that much, dude.
So
She missed
She'll
the
comes
boat, I think.
running over, raging, throws off 2 javelins, but while one of them kind of hits him, embeds itself in the flesh, kind of just shrugs it off, seemingly doing nothing to the other one, swings wide, slamming the wall beside Air Death. Thaddeus, it's on you.
I want to quickly look over at Hobble and see what his little snake friend is doing, like how it's reacting.
Being sad.
Give me a perception.
Is that going to count as an action?
No, I'll let you do it for free.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, quick just glance over. You can see this thing seemingly coiled a bit tighter. Its head just moving off, fangs bared, and it's letting out this very subtle, you can barely hear it, just hissing sound.
Okay. I'm going to step forward. And, yeah, actually, I'm going to toll this guy. Yeah, 12 damage.
Damn it!
See, you should have rolled wisdom yourself. You did better.
Guess so. Well, I don't know about that. It's about even. Okay. You make this same spectral bell appear around it as it slams. You see the thing. His attention pretty set on Erdis. Suddenly just this almost aggressive, annoyed roar. He seems to stagger and wade through the water a bit, causing just crest to overflow onto the sides. Anything else?
Not at this time.
Okay. As it goes to him, you see him, attention still on Erdeth, having done the most. Quickly just stumbles across water easily, making its way through it. You can tell this is fairly deep. I mean, it's up to his sort of chest. Easily put you guys head underwater. So he grabs hold of his titways.
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 It's the proper way to say it.
But you didn't even do it titways.
It's old English,
That's
dude.
titius?
Titius.
Titius? No, it's gonna be titways.
Yeah,
Like,
titties.
comes thrashing over, grabs hold of the column, and just poof, unintentionally slamming it through it. You watch as it just the support poof, collapses into the water, pulling himself onto the ledge, and he's swinging in.
I'm unhappy about this.
That's fair.
Whoa. Wow.
Constitution save, please.
Fire death.
Yeah, I'm actually relatively damaged from that, so don't worry about it. He takes 15 ice damage, cold damage, sorry.
Okay. And give me a con save.
Failed.
Okay, she just poisoned.
GG.
Okay, so is that a 22, or are you negating part of that?
Oh, I've removed 15 as temporary hit points, so.
Oh, that's right, temporary. Okay. So that is much less than that.
Just
7. Alright, this thing comes. Actually, it's got one more attack. What am I doing?
I can't do anything about it. That's one too high for my shield.
Wait. Oh, another 7. This thing comes just billowing over, slashing through both arms. Part of your arcane armor absorbing that, but still some getting through, making these massive gashes.
If it hadn't been a crit, he'd have taken 30 damage from that. That'd have been horrid.
Did he take damage?
He takes 15 damage from hitting me, yeah.
Oh.
He's as cold as ice.
Yeah, but now my armor
All
is
attacks are
is-
simultaneous though, right?
Don't think so, no. There is sequential, so he only took the one, just the crit one. But it's 15 damage per hit.
In that case, the second claw attack is enraged.
So what does that do?
Same as the other ones. It is. I believe it's just an extra 2d6. Sorry. What the fuck is it? Of course, it's not gonna like. Un momento, por favor. I didn't realize he took 15 as well.
Yeah, anytime I have armor like stuff, they take 5 times the spell level like after that, while I have the temporary hit points. As soon as I lose them, they normally take damage. So.
Got it. Okay. So as he takes that first hit into you, gets thrown back by this ice damage, just kind of freezing him over. You see him kind of heave for a moment as he tears through that ice, becoming far more enraged, slamming in again. That is an extra 2d6 damage. Another 6. As he's doing that, the rest of you, the Shield Thaddeus, Hobble, you very clearly make out in the distance as it comes into view, wading through the water, this secondary form, similar in appearance, just moving along the center of this area. But it's on Hobble.
No.
It's now?
No.
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 I don't see that. It doesn't
I don't
exist.
agree. I don't agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna retcon that. I use my player power of veto.
Yes.
That'd be an interesting concept to give every player veto power for like
One veto.
Once per campaign. That would be super interesting.
That would actually. Yeah, because it's like, one time, that's it. Like
We would just never
level
use
1
it.
to 20.
No, you would. You would use it on.
It'd be like Phoenix Downs in Final Fantasy. You're always like, no, I'm gonna need this later.
No. What it would be like is like, I paralyzed Throkan. Ooh, I use legendary resistant. I veto that resistance. Fuck you, Bash. That's what that would be.
Oh yeah, if that happens, Rokan would have died that first fight. He'd have been done.
Yeah.
So, you guys just barely see the outskirts of this thing that comes wading up through the water. Hobble.
Fuck. I'm gonna firebolt this thing that I can see right in front of me.
Yes, please.
4 damage.
He's still up.
But then, here comes little Quetzal. It's gonna go in for a bite.
He's gonna eat.
Little Quetzal.
Little Quetzal, y'all.
And then he's gonna fly away, because he has flyby, so he doesn't take opportunity attacks.
Yeah.
It's a shame that doesn't do 2 automatic damage. So he goes darting off of you, bites straight into this thing, kind of along its neck. You see the thing just kind of swat at the area, and creature quickly moves it backwards. He kind of swipes at it, not even close to hitting it. Just kind of weaving in and out. Anything else?
No, I'm just gonna be sad that I only did 4 damage.
Imagine if you had done 5. Air death.
Game
Do I get
changer.
the impression that this creature might be a humanoid? Or is it too big? Look too big for that kind of
Yeah,
shit.
it's too big.
Okay, okay, so I'm going to cast a hypnotic pattern on it.
Might have been a humanoid at one point.
Previously. Oh, fuck you. Alright. Anyways, it needs to a wisdom saving throw. Yay for imports from your side.
Alright, I guess I'll scroll up and use the bell. Thanks, Thaddeus. Oh, just kidding.
Cool. So he is incapacitated and can't move. So you can't take any roll.
Okay. That's the one right in front of you?
Yeah, that's the only one I can see right now. So it's a 30-foot cube, and I'm assuming the other one is nowhere near that, unless he's underwater.
No, he's like 40 away.
Yeah, I can't even see over there, so that's fine. And no, Ola is not the same as being paralyzed. So I'm going to move over here, and that's going to be my turn, I think. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give Thaddeus an arcane enhancement. And so you are going to get an extra d6 on, actually a d8 on an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check.
Oh, pretty cool.
So he's incapacitated, right?
He's incapacitated, yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Is that like automatic advantage, or what does that do for?
Incapacitated means he can't take any actions.
Okay.
Yep. Just can't take actions
no
or reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can just look up conditions in the SRD. It'll give you all of them on a nice clean page. It's pretty useful. So, yeah, there's just this flash of light, this hypnotic pattern. You see the creature kind of blinded for a moment, and he takes a step back, staggered, kind of just swinging wildly as if almost drunken. On the shield.
I'm going to turn to the others and say, don't hit it, it'll break the enchantment. Oof. Now, woodless shield, listen. Can she see the other one? I really don't know what you were talking about when you said see this something moving forward.
Yeah, she can see it.
Okay. That's terribly far away, isn't it? For the sake of not destroying my only level 3 spell, I think she's going to throw some javelins.
What's her speed?
Ridiculous.
It's 40, right?
It's more than that.
So she can easily get to the other one.
Yeah, but I don't know if she'd want to get all the way to the one so far away from us.
She's raging. I'm pretty sure she wants to
She
go
is raging.
swing into it.
I feel like character though. How far have I moved so far? Like, he was.
You had enough.
roughly
You had
equal,
40.
So. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was like 38 away.
Yeah, she's. I can't actually see where it is. That it there? Oh no, it's there. Aha!
Aha!
Yeah,
She
it
just
was
goes
like,
running along the edge, pulls Oatek out, and just leaps off of it into the water.
Because I thought it was way further away than that. It was blending into the water background too well. Like it just was not showing up once it had been dimmed out.
Oh.
She's gonna jump on it with her axe.
That worked really well the last time she jumped onto a large thing.
It's her style. 15.
Ooh, unfortunately, as she jumps onto it, give me a Constitution save.
Oh yeah, because of the poison skin. That's a fail, isn't it?
No, I think it's 13.
Or is it 13?
Yep,
13, isn't it? Yeah. So she's okay. But 15 is gonna miss, I'm assuming.
15 will miss.
And so will a natural 1. So
Yeah. So she goes like, and give me an acrobatics on her.
Oh man, she sucks at that. Oh, this is not good.
Not good at all. So she goes leaping off the ledge, kind of grabs on with one arm to one of the jagged spikes growing out of its back. The thing just starts thrashing about between that, the poisonous skin. She's not able to land an effective hit, and she just immediately kind of slips off, falls backwards into the water.
She has entirely none of the skills I would expect for a cat lady, by the way.
Right.
She's got 4 decks. She's got no acrobatics, no stealth, nothing.
Yeah, she pretty easily catches her footing there. It's only, like I said, about, if it's up to its chest, it's probably 5-6 feet deep. She's taller than that, I think. She's probably up to her neck, but she's upright. Thaddeus.
Well, can she? Does she have enough to sort of get her way over to the wall? Not like out of the wall, obviously, but just.
Yeah, she had the
away.
movement too. She could have easily kind of
Yeah.
after hitting the water
That's
just.
not trigger opportunity attack, so it's all good.
Yep.
Right.
I'm going to move up behind that pillar and shield touch. Not the incapacitated dude, the one by the shield.
'21 will definitely hit for 12. It's the water around it suddenly kind of just like picks up. It almost looks like the water itself forms into tendril like fingers. Only until the water kind of coalesces off it that you realize it's a skeletal hand, and it kind of just rakes across its backside, lets out this furious bellow. Yeah, takes 12.
Yep.
And it's onto it, and it's swinging into Lishil.
Let's go ahead.
Con save from her.
Nope.
Oh, shit.
So it's 5 for the first one, and that's going to be 13.
Oh yeah, she's raging. Thank God. I thought she was down again.
She'd be drowning if she was. She'd be prone underwater.
Still down
and
to
unconscious.
14 as she kind of wades along up to the side of this. It's true. Anytime she doesn't show up, she gets really low on health. Very true.
Yeah, that'll learn, yeah.
Apparently not. It happens every time she still leaves. So, yeah, as she turns around and go to the water, just immediately, two massive slamming claws straight into her. This time as the poison hits her, just the combination of the murky water, the poisonous skin, she seems to just kind of grab onto the ledge. Even though she's raging and furious turning around, she looks noticeably weaker. Thaddeus, as you're closer, you immediately make this out. And the other one, does he take a test at the end of his turn, or is he's out, right?
He doesn't get it.
Okay, then it's on Hubble.
I gotta move up because I can't even see this other one. Nah, I still can't even see it.
You definitely can.
Should.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's 10 within your movement, your vision range, dude.
Yeah.
Easily, and you can see all the way beyond its
Oh, I mean, like like my screen is actually dark where it is.
Yeah.
Gotta turn that
That does
contrast
come
all the
out.
way up. But yeah, no, you can see it. Vague outline of it in the distance, but it's there.
All right, I'll shoot at it with a firebolt.
'11 will not hit, just as it's kind of an outlined blur. You let out the shot, and just seemingly as this thing moves and thrashing into the shield, shot goes right by him. However, as it cascades through the end of the room, you can see pretty much the entirety of the area ignite. You see the room continues on, probably he's standing at about the halfway point of the pool, and it just moves on to the slamming into the wall at the far end.
All right, that's my turn.
Erda.
Okay, I'm going to move back over on the other side, getting roughly level with the creature again, and I'm going to shoot a couple of Eldritch Blasts over at the distant one as I move my way out. It's going to be 16 damage from them, because 21 and 22 I'm disadvantaged, but that still hits.
Yep.
And I make my con save because I'm no longer in contact with the creature, is what the thing said.
Yep.
So I'm no longer poisoned.
All right. So as you come running up, the poison is still kind of acidic and on your body. You kind of just wiping it away and getting rid of the muck. It seems to subside momentarily, enough for you to take off both, not even shots, right? So you're using your crossbow for this?
No, Eldritch Blast. I don't have a crossbow, I have a longbow.
Or a longbow. You're using it through the longbow, I mean, right?
Well, not this time. I'm using my sword again
Okay.
because I have my shield out, so I can't.
Okay, Fair enough. So as you come running up, just let out both shots, warping towards him. He's taking 16. 16 it is. And it's on the shield.
And the shield's gonna climb her way up onto the ledge, so she's still in range to fight. She's gonna make a couple of attacks. No reckless, so disadvantage with these. 15's gonna miss. 15's gonna miss.
Yep. Thaddeus.
I'm going to move up about 10 feet or so, and I'm going to cast Inflict Wounds at level 3, and I'm going to distance it so that it hits it.
Ooh, shame it wasn't that crit, huh?
Right.
That is still 27 though. Okay, so you come up, running up, you create this sort of spectral dagger in hand. As you let loose of the dagger, it kind of flows through the air, this hand emerging around it, spectral in form as well, and just drives it straight through. You see it emerge out the backside. Although there's no clear apparent wound in the creature, it almost looks as if it's just passed through him. He staggers back for a moment, and in the pool, just lingering there in the center, collapses down in the water. You see huge crests of waves billow off over the sides.
Nice. So he's down then for good. Or I can't tell.
As far as you can tell, I mean, he just
big red X on him all of a sudden.
Drops into the water. I mean, he's not moving.
All right. As a bonus action, I'm going to heal the shield. Still got my dice too.
This one's can't do anything, so hobble.
I'm gonna back up against the corner here. I am going to hold a firebolt for when air death is away from it. I don't want to wake it up.
Oh, I'm going for it. So.
All right, then I'll hit it real quick.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a booming blade at it from where I am, which is going to be a 18 to hit. And I'm going to add a flourish, and I add a mobile flourish to it to knock him backwards into the water as well. So I'm just going to like swing the blade upwards under its chin and just like knock its head backwards out of its charm and have it float back into the water.
Okay, so you leverage yourself on the platform, just kind of head level with it, arc the blade upwards. It seems to crackle with this thundering energy, starting sort of at its sternum and headed upwards. You see it sort of sever the flesh, continuing on. Its head rears back. There's only a brief moment where it's snapped out of the hypnotic state. Its eyes kind of widen, and you see with this long trickle of blood as it goes down its neck, it not only gets thrown back, but slams into the water. It's dead.
Okay.
That wasn't bad actually. That was
No.
25 in total. I get +3 to that as well. All right. Hopping down off the ledge, I'm just going to like peer into the water from a close distance and look back. Looks dead, right?
I'm going to go over and investigate it. I haven't gotten a chance to look at one of these things close up yet.
Give me a perception.
I was expecting that to take more.
Yeah, me too.
I'd like to Arcana check it as well, because I think that if I'm right about Throcon being sort of fusing with the ooze, or the ooze is powering him in some way, then this thing might be similar to him in how it's working.
Yeah, give me an Arcana.
Nice.
So, as you move up to him, I mean, trying to make out any more details, you're not really able to. Everything that you realize as you came into the room pretty much holds true. And you can tell that they appear to be wearing the same armor as the temple guard from up above, just for whatever reason, massive hulking brutes, the armor on them seemingly not even covering the areas they should, almost as if they grew out of it. In terms of magic, as you just study them kneeling down by the side of the pool, you still get this general sense of dark, brooding magic, but there's definitely this feeling of corruption that is the pools, the contamination of these pools. As you look at this brackish, murky water, it seems to be doing this. You get the large sense of this dark magic seems to emanate from the pool itself.
In that case, I'd like to, like, the pool is contaminated, or just the creature in the pool is contaminated?
Based on what you saw in Nahuatl, the temple there, and the other pools that were spawning the oozes, you pretty easily come to the conclusion that it's the pool itself that's contaminated.
I'd like to set my Quetzal on purifying it.
So you set it off, and it kind of hovers for a moment, unsure, looking at the pool, the sheer size of this as it spans across the entirety of the room. It's massive. This pool of water is more akin to the kind of reminiscent of the breeding pool in the Temple of Nahuatl, but far larger. It starts on one end, and it takes a long period of time as it winds itself back and forth from edge to edge, sprinkling this same sort of radiant and nature-esque magic along it, slowly cleansing the pool. It takes a good 15-20 minutes for it to do this.
Can I help it in some way? Can I speed it up? Like, I don't know detect magic, but can I just channel magical power into it?
Fortunately not. You're just entirely unaware of the spell, and you imagine that it's just a different type of magic than what you normally work with as well.
Yeah. I have dispel magic, but I can't cast it right now.
Well, in the meantime, what do you guys think? And if we were following these two down, Throkan, he wouldn't even still be here. If these things were bleeding out, then he must have been fine.
But we don't know it was these two for sure, do we?
Well, I mean, this one here, gesturing to the one that I just killed, he was right where the blood stopped. He seemed to have maybe fallen into the pool.
Okay, makes sense.
I wonder if they came to the pool to try to heal. If the contamination from the black magic is powering these things or creating them somehow, then maybe they can heal them. The other one had to have been badly injured too. It didn't die with much effort. So I wonder if they were injured in the battle to get Throkan here, or Throkan injured them, and they came down here to heal.
I'm wondering if maybe they were injured. They came down here to pursue him, died in the process, and then the black goo healed them somewhat.
That could be, and that would be, if the goo is capable of healing, and Throkan controls the goo, that would explain how he was able to best warriors such as these. He was injured when he left us.
We need to get them out of the pool.
I don't know if it matters once the Quetzal is finished purifying it.
And it's taking a long time, Paul.
I'm not exactly a fan of the idea of going into the pool once it's corrupted.
I'm not saying we have to. I think we could use rope to get him out.
I don't have rope.
I have room.
But I'll conjure up a mage hand so that once we get the rope ready, I can guide it out to wrap around the creatures.
Yeah, it's just hanging on the outside of my pack, so I'll just like turn around and you can have your hand grab it or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we should be able to get most of the way out the water because the water will make it lighter for us. But yeah, if we were all pulling on it, I'm sure we could drag it out. It'll give you a better chance to inspect it as well.
Go and give me athletics with Actually, no, it doesn't even matter. I mean, you got the shield and everyone. It's heavy, but using the water and I mean, just on the shield alone. I mean, I think her lifting is pretty ridiculous. So with the rope and everything, you're able to just kind of heave them out just enough to flop them up onto the surface.
Are any details apparent to us now that they're out of the water? Anything that we may have missed before?
Looking down at them, it's all very much the same. It's almost very similar to the creatures up top, wherein that much of the armor, beyond not fitting, does appear to be somewhat melded in with their flesh. You can see the scales missing in some areas, the skin darkened, and spikes sort of jagged and growing out between the various scales. You can see as you kind of use your weapons to like pull apart certain pieces of its body, you can see the eyes of it are completely sort of blacked over. It almost kind of looks like Thaddeus's when he does his thing. Thaddeus is one of them.
Once the Quetzal's done with the pool, I'd like it to just purify one of these, the corpse that we pulled out, see if it does anything.
Okay. So you wait
Well,
for...
I mean, how long is the Quetzal going to take? Because if it is going to be a while, maybe we should actually look at the end of the room. I mean, it looks like it goes on for some way.
That's a good point. If the Quetzal's going to take a while, then I'll just say screw it, and we'll go investigate.
Okay. So while he's doing that, he's probably about halfway done by the time you guys get the bodies up. That doesn't take too long. You make your way up to the room, and you can see there's a number of offshoot chambers, but as you come to the very end, you can see a trail of this black ichor from the pool. Steady.
Over here.
Seems to head off to the right.
Okay, since there's nothing over here, I'm going to just make the jump over there. Don't want to get in the water. I'm easily capable of doing that.
I'm fine to leave the Quetzal to continue its work. It'll catch up with us once it's done. If we're going to have to exit this way, I'd prefer that nothing else finds its way to this pool before we get back to it. Or if it does, that they die properly.
So, as you make your way over there, you can see just on the ledge, the lip of the pool. Although these creatures, as they kind of rose up and received those various attacks and dropped down in the pool, they kind of upheaved the water along the sides. Didn't go too terribly far, but up on this right lip, it seems especially heavy. It seems to trail off steadily. Thick, especially on the offset. That heads up into the next chamber.
Definitely going quietly down here. Keeping hidden as best I can behind the staircase and stuff. So I will roll a wisdom check. Just a 12. Apparently plus 8 means nothing.
I'll stealth too.
I'll continue on. doesn't go anywhere. So then again, looking around. The path is very narrow. It twists and turns quite a bit. Whatever came through here, it can't have been too big.
Thorcon wasn't that much bigger than we were, was he?
He was pretty beefy. I don't think he was wider than 5 feet.
His token was. It's going to one through. What are we seeing in these rooms, by the way? Like what kind
More
of?
the same. As you continue through, you see more of these same etchings. Many of them take on a more almost a chain of events, you think. As you look at them in the longer hallways, you still see images of these beasts, sort of grotesque abominations spread out, many of them just incomprehensible, but you also see a long iteration of the same kind of lizardmen and other such species. You're not entirely sure what it all means or why it's configured in the way it is. Whereas upstairs it seemed to have some sort of almost chronological order. Down here it's just this twisting labyrinth of information. The further you get following the trail, the more it seems to get less and less distinct. It starts to fade and sort of wane off. The tracks and the trail just lessening, thinning out as you move. As you come around the corner, begin moving to the next room, it's almost entirely begins to stop.
I'm going to replenish my round, by the way, as we're going in. Second level this time. I've crossed off the appropriate slot. So it seems to disappear here entirely. Nothing left.
I think I see some up ahead.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You follow it down this next hallway, this brief extension of the trail, kind of skirting around it, stepping where it's not, just giving the properties that you've seen of it. It comes into this much more shallow, small contained room. You see what looks to be a pedestal, an altar of sorts embedded into the wall, 4 columns holding up the chamber, but by the time you get in there, the trail seems to fade entirely. Kind of looking around the corner and up at the altar, doesn't seem to pick up anywhere.
What can we make out about this altar? Is it just plain stone or have decoration?
The altar itself is plain stone. As you gaze above it, you see the image of one of the winged serpents. It's cracked and aged, and it's hard to make out which of them it is, whether or not it's Kukulkan or one of the others, you're not sure. But it is the primary depiction etched into the wall there just above the altar. The altar itself has nothing beyond some just sort of tribal kind of outlining etched into it, just markings.
What'd you make of that, Humble? Doing anything for you?
What do I make of it? Does it do anything for me?
You approach it and you wait for anything to transpire, but nothing does.
Nah, nothing. Not like before.
Does it look like this creature came to the altar at all? Is there any sign of the goo here? Any trace that it may have come this way?
Nothing that you see. Quick look around, carefully scanning the ground, you see nothing. seems to have faded out before it even reached the room.
I just want to give one last cursory scan around the room, look in the corners, ceiling, just check there's nothing in here before moving on. Do I catch anything at all? Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to follow Mrs. Thaddeus, who is leading the charge now, apparently.
He's getting the whispers.
No, I was just kind of keeping guard up here in case something came around the corner while you guys were investigating.
How's my Quetzal doing? Would it have caught up by now, or is it still purifying?
Feel free to move fast.
You guys have been probably moving quite slow through here, so I imagine it would have caught up by now.
Gonna just hide behind the wall for a second and peek around.
So, as you move into this area, no longer a trail to follow, kind of just winding corridors. Move up to this wall, two open sides, and peer around. You can see this sort of chamber on either side, stairs leading up to each, etchings and murals on both, and beyond it what looks to be a straight corridor that goes on for longer than you can make out.
Well, nothing else has been very straight down here. Maybe that's a good sign.
Perhaps, maybe it's worth looking at some of these murals again. Are any of them in a particularly good condition?
The ones in these chambers before the long stretch, like the one you're in now, the one just beneath Thaddeus, not so much. They're pretty significant disarray, but Hobble, as you move into this chamber with the two sort of offshoots, the stairs leading up to each, you see two large etchings on either side. On the side above you, you see what looks to be the image of all four of the winged serpents, an army of lizardkin below. And on the other side below you, these same horrific abomination creatures, and above them these masses of incomprehensible something. What sticks out to you most, though, as you look and gaze upon the one below you of these horrendous abominations, is the very center up ahead, above everything else, what looks to be this sort of shapeless mass with 3 eyes.
Guys, it's the three-eyed raven.
Does it have a
If I focus on it, what happens?
Take 50 psychic damage.
You die.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Sorry, 100 psychic damage.
So, as you kind of move up the stairs, looking at this one, focusing on it intently, you warp into it. You get this very brief image, maybe 5-10 seconds at most, centered in a black, endless abyss all around you. The same skittering. You hear it before you see it. These multitudinous creatures, different, all of them, none of them alike. In the brief moments that you're there, you make out what almost look like crustacean-like creatures, but horribly mutilated and changed, warped. Some of them in similar fashions to the lizardkin, some of them completely different. Many of them you simply turn away from before even trying to look at them, and before you warp out of it, you get the same vision of these 3 red glowing eyes in the darkness, and then you're pulled back out of it.
Yeah, this is really. These creatures are really not good. Really evil. I saw visions of. It looked like corrupted sea life, crustaceans, and all sorts of underwater life, but dark. And those three eyes. Whatever that thing is with the three eyes, I think it's their master.
What kind of creature has 3 eyes?
I don't know. I don't know if it was any sort of creature that exists on this world now. It was just incomprehensible, the scale of it.
I don't know what to make of that.
But whatever they were, I guess the lizardkin won. And it looks like this was another fight scene. Do the murals extend down the tunnel? Like, does it look like this corridor in front of us? Is there another series of events like this is going to tell the events of the fight?
As you kind of step to that edge and look through the double doorway there, it seems so. Just looking at the two on either side, you can see almost similar to the series of events leading up to the room with the large raven statuesque, the wars between the mortals and the residents of Felheim. You get the same sort of depiction, this long chain that spans out far longer than that small tunnel upstairs. As far as you can tell, as you move down it, it seems to span out for hundreds upon hundreds of feet, straight, completely. The etchings here are far more elaborate. The battles that take place between, well, they start off not exactly with these strange abominations. Many of them depict the same sort of fights between the minotaurs, orcs, lizardmen, etc. And it slowly changes. You see these abominable creatures above, sort of overlooking the lizardmen, the minotaurs, and the like. You see the wars stop momentarily, and you get the sense of enslavement, if you will. And then there seems to be a change in the tide as these minotaurs and lizardmen all seemingly fight back. And the depiction of events, the wars that come, and it's not until you get maybe halfway through this long corridor, after a few hundred feet of these murals, that you get the first glimpse of what appear to be the winged serpents. In their portrayal, you see these glowing rays of light emanating off of them. And it continues. More battles. Battle after battle. You see the depiction of what appears to be one of these creatures, not the one with 3 eyes, a different one. A battle with that. A battle that seemingly ends in victory for these Felheim residents. Continues on again, more battles. Another creature, another victory. And then finally, as you reach the end, after seeing 3, 4, maybe 5 of such depictions, you come to the last panel upon which there is the same 3-eyed creature. See, it's a shapeless, formless mass residing over everything, and adjacent to it, the form of a winged serpent. Just beside it, or across from it on the other side, the last panel of the opposing side, what looked to be the winged serpent strewn across the ground, a horde of people standing around it, and no sign of the 3-eyed creature. As you move further along, the tunnel comes to an end after these 2 panels, and facing a singular wall, similar to the one that's kind of a passageway, a doorway blocked by a slab in the center, you see along this what looks to be a single large ziggurat etched in the stone, hidden amongst the jungle. around it atop the edges you see a number of smaller cigarettes kind of just encircled. And it continues on to a large chamber.
Is the mural detailed enough that we can place it in the world?
It's not done on a map per se. It's literally a ziggurat in the center with ziggurats kind of all around it in a circle.
How's my Quetzal doing? Is it tightened? Is it relaxed?
Surprisingly, it hasn't coiled up much or tightened to any degree. It's actually kind of uncoiled itself and wrapped itself kind of around your shoulder. Almost seems like it's indulging in this display of information just as much as you are. As you reach the final panel, however, it seems to slither back, coil itself up, and although it doesn't let out a hiss, you see it sort of withdraw as far as it can from the depiction of the cigarette.
And you said it leads to a bigger chamber?
Indeed. As you move past this panel, it opens up into a much wider hallway. You see, looking down at this vast chamber, this large pool of water in the center, and a sort of stone island, 2 braziers lit and flaming atop it. On either side, the halls seem to twist and intertwine the same as the rest of the labyrinth. As you move past the slab in the center, there's this... You hear the waiting of water, and you see these masses shifting, churning in the distance. It's unclear what they are.
What color's the water?
From how far you are, you can't tell, but dark.
Is the room filled with murals? Or is it more of like a cave?
It's hard to tell. It's a very large rectangular room from what you can see, but you're still a good, probably a good still 50, 75 feet away.
We have to go forward.
What do we see illuminated by the braziers? Anything useful?
As far as you can tell, the braziers seem to be sat upon this large horizontal stone slab, an altar of sorts, although very crude. Beyond that, you see that the center platform that rises up out of the water has a bridge that kind of spans backwards, connecting it to the rest of the room. But beyond that, it's the water and the outskirts of numerous columns that you make out.
Yeah, I agree. We have to go forward. Should try not to alert those big things to our presence, though.
Agreed. We should stick to the walls. Stay out of the middle.
And stay away from the light.
Yeah, we inch forward then, I guess.
Yep.
Nice and quiet like.
Nice and quiet like. Everyone give me a perception.
Not good in general.
Not good at all.
Thaddeus nailed it.
I mean, he's half asleep, but he's got it on lock.
I can see. That's all that matters.
All that matters, baby. So, as you guys inch forward into the chamber, skirting along the outskirts of the wall, you come into the more vast open area. You see that the center pool large, the braziers lighting it. You can tell it's easily maybe 50 feet wide, 100 feet deep. The water is completely black, like shifting silk, almost. Even with the brazier's light, it's impossible to penetrate the surface, and as you move forward, skirting along the outsides of the wall, you can see the shifting in the waves, but beyond that, nothing. Thaddeus, you're the only one to make it out. Just seconds before, this large tentacle flails itself out of the water, spraying the surrounding area. One of it grabs hold of... That's going to be Lachille. And I suppose that's where we'll pick it up next time, unless Earl can keep going. I don't know, Earl might fall asleep there.
I mean, I'm not falling asleep, but I'm definitely getting tired, and it's...
You want to play this out, or you want to stop? I'm leaving it up to you guys.
It's a one monster fight, dude. We could do this.
Yeah, but it could end up taking like a fucking hour. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
The problem is when someone shoots off like a stray arrow and it hits one of the big things. Well, I guess at that point it's just a TPK.
I mean, I could probably go for like another half an hour, but I don't want to. I don't know what I'm getting myself into here.
You call it 45 minutes.
All right, let's give it a shot. I'm gonna need another cigarette for this one.
Kill the shield, man. Come on. Don't pussy out.
We have to kill.
Exactly. I mean, she'll be back next week. It'll be no fun then.
All right, I'm not kidding.
So, with that, as you guys come moving along the outskirts of the room, the shield sort of taking the lead there. You see the rippling in the water, nothing else beneath this black, moving, silk-like surface. Thaddeus, you make it out. I need everyone to roll initiative. Thaddeus, you're not surprised. Everyone else is. As this large tentacle warps out of the water, wrapping itself around Lachille. She lets out this shrill scream. It tries to drag and pull her in. You see at this same time a secondary eruption of water as on the other side of the pool a second one comes out, and all around the outskirts of the pool more and more of these large tentacles start making themselves. Oh, where'd they go?
Oh, fuck
Oh,
that.
shit.
Yeah, this doesn't look good.
You don't look good.
Sure you don't want to save this for next week? I don't think any of us are going to be looking good after that.
Oh man, they're all the way down. Must be weird.
Okay, Thad, what's your dex?
It's 2 plus 2, 14.
You are first to react. Even before it wraps around Lachille, you see the thing just kind of pull out of the water.
So it hasn't grabbed her yet.
Hasn't grabbed her yet.
If I'm seeing that it's going for her, I'm going to try to chill touch it. See if that'll buy her enough time to be able to kind of pull away.
Sorry, it's being weird. 19 will definitely hit. As you see this thing, you kind of create this skeletal hand that appears just out of thin air, seemingly between Lachille and this large tentacle. Kind of hand cascades through it, you see part of it begin to wither and warp away as it passes through, taking 11 in damage. But nevertheless, it is still on course, for the shield does not stop and attempts to wrap itself around. And
all right, I'm gonna back up into this corridor here.
Oh, whoops, that's the wrong one. Oh well. That's irrelevant. Okay, so yeah, you quickly back up, and this thing. Okay, the sheet's broken, so I'm just gonna do this manually, I guess. Does not hit. Okay. Of course, trying to wrap around her, she quickly just pulls it off, starts slicing into it with O attack. Thing kind of withers back and starts swaying back and forth in the air. Top of the initiative is on her.
She's gonna do just that. She's gonna start swinging it with O attack. Yeah, she is.
Whew. Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she is. Another 50. Oh, there's not 40, sorry, 40.
Yeah, I mean, as the withered hand cart or withered tentacle starts warping straight back down in her, she sidesteps, cuts it down into it with a blast of radiant energy. It completely severs this large central tentacle as it slams on the ground, flops around, sucks itself back into the depths, but one is gone.
She is pseudo raging. So
That
she's
was
gonna go for that next one.
outrageous damage.
What's that, wasn't it? She's taking another 11 on that guy. And,
Okay, she comes, as soon as she comes within range, though, this one immediately lashes out. Which is a crit. She's immediately grappled.
nice.
And that is going to be 10 damage. She's not raging yet.
Just 1d10?
Yep, just 1d10. Oh, I'm sorry. Constitution save. I'm good. As she comes within range, just wraps itself around her, kind of pulls her in. Nevertheless, as she comes, like, getting pulled in, using that momentum to propel her, even with grapple, she's going to hit. That's going to be 11.
Oh, grapple doesn't really put disadvantage anyway.
Right. Let me check.
She cannot move.
It might be restrained too. Let me check.
It probably is. Usually these conditions with like tentacles restrain as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
She'll still hit regardless, so it's fine. I'll look that up while Thaddeus is on you.
Yeah, since I can see that one guy, I'm gonna just stay right where I am and chill touch him as well as the guy on the bottom. Yeah. Not that it really did shit.
That glorious damage, man.
Right.
The most glorious of damage. Alright, this one, I mean, it's kind of like swinging back and forth, or you let out this same skeletal hand, just kind of appears. Doesn't seem to do much, though, and it just kind of keeps swaying back and forth, which brings it back to them.
Actually, hold on. As a bonus action, I'm just going to step right to the corner here, just enough to see the shell and him.
Okay.
6 health on her. And as it goes back to these things, they are... As it goes back to them, the one on her already starts to just wrap more tentacles around it, 3, 4 of them, and it just immediately starts to constrict. I don't understand.
Well, that was a waste of a spell.
That was a bit. Oh, fuck.
Rage save her, maybe?
She's not raging.
She's not raging.
She wasn't.
No,
Oh,
well,
that's horrible.
she has one more, doesn't she?
I used it because we had to, like in that previous fight.
Well,
She was gonna
she
use
used
that.
2 herself, right?
Precisely, and I'd used 1. She has 3 at this level.
Didn't she get 1 more at this level?
So,
I thought she got 1 more.
and that was the extra one, I think.
Oh, maybe. Alright, I mean, you guys will watch as you
No,
watch this.
she's got 4. I love
It
it.
also makes no difference whatsoever.
Yeah, she didn't use
The
it
reason I
yet,
asked, the reason I asked, well, I mean, I would have used it, but it wouldn't have made a difference anyway. But the reason I asked about the crit before was because you rolled 1d10 for that crit. So like even then, I don't think this would have mattered. Like she would.
Yeah, it's a different attack. It's 2d10.
No, but you crit before as well because you rolled 1d10 there, and that's why I asked you. Did you mean 1d10 because you only rolled?
Oh, did I crit the
dice
last
for
time?
damage. Yeah, you rolled
Oh,
20.
then yeah, that's an extra d10
yeah,
on
you
the
double
first
crit
one.
on that.
Oh,
Yeah, so I mean,
geez.
even if she was raging, she'd be
Whoops.
way under hit points right now.
Yeah.
Either way, she was like this.
Yeah, you guys watch as the shield pulled into the air as more tentacles grab her. They seem to just constrict and pull her in different directions. You watch her, you can hear the snapping of bone as things just become dislodged. It's still like pulling and stretching her apart. Yeah, it's on air death. She's still restrained, constricted, incapacitated. I mean, all of the conditions.
Probably poisoned.
Oh yeah, I mean, she like automatically fails, doesn't she? Or is it just disadvantage?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't get any
That's the
penalties
strength,
for it.
right?
For what, poison?
Well, no, for unconscious, do you automatically fail all saving throws?
No,
not right.
Not all of them. No.
It doesn't matter. I mean, oh yeah,
Anyway,
strength
so-
and dex. Okay, yeah, so it does matter. Make a con save on her.
Yeah, I was gonna say because if when she wakes up, she's gonna
Yeah.
potentially get poisoned as well. She is.
She is poisoned. Okay, air death.
Man, I'm not even sure it's worth giving healing word to her right now. I'm gonna start off by slashing out with the Eldritch Blast, like cutting an arc as I run towards it. That's probably not gonna hit. That one's terrible damage. So do I do this? Do anything?
12 and 14. 14 will hit. Or 2.
2 damage. Yay. I am gonna put a healing word on the shield. So that'll be my turn.
Alright. Oh, what does her, fucking fanatic barbarian thing do? Doesn't she?
Then she can choose to pass a save, but she has to be conscious, and it wouldn't work against the grapple that you did originally. That was the problem.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I guess it would only be against the poison.
No saving throw. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. Alright, Hobble.
Alright, I was gonna save this for later, but if the shield is just super fucked up, then I gotta use it now. I'm gonna fireball the tentacle.
It's pretty good damage actually.
Oh yeah, man.
And it is +0, so that is straight roll. 2. Ah, so typical for you guys to do 36 damage to the tentacle with 37.
Oh,
It's okay, because you know who's gonna save the day? Motherfucking Quetzal.
Unlike last time where he was one off.
It's gonna miss.
Yeah, 12 will miss.
Does it get flanking because it's parallel with shield?
It's not even parallel. I mean, the shield's being held up in the sky with like tentacles pulling her in all directions. This thing just quickly darts out as it doesn't even like fully stop. It just continues. I mean, it's a flyby. It just kind of rakes itself across it, deals the 1 damage. as this fire just immolates the thing, smoldering, burning through most of it. The tentacle is sort of just this flailing appendage that is hardly being held together at this point. And it's on the shield. It was poisoned and restrained.
Yep. Do you know what? She's going to attempt to make attacks with Reckless, because that's her best chance to get out of this, I think. She can't run away if she breaks out, so... It's going to hit 15 damage. A lot more than 15 damage, but I don't think it's gonna matter.
So, kind of leveraging herself after this this blast of fire, kind of tearing away some of the tentacles. With this loosened grip, she managed to get one hand free and just swing in with O-Attack, explodes with radiant damage, searing the last link on the central tentacle. She goes dropping straight down into the water. She's kind of more in the center.
And then she's going to use her movement to try and get out of the water.
Okay, she can do. She got
Yeah, she's going to clamber up into the corner. That's it.
Okay. Thaddeus.
I'm going to go for the bottom one again with Chill Touch and hopefully do better than last time. Nope.
Does not hit.
You still have your arcane enhancement, by the way. If you should.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think that would even. Well,
it's much necessarily with it now. It's going to be average of 4.5.
What do you say?
It's going to be an average of 4.5 bonus, so it's probably not worth it.
Right. All
I mean,
right.
I want to remind you, it's been a while since we had that. So.
No, I knew I had it, and I thought I might need it last battle, but I didn't end up needing it. But yeah, I guess I don't know if it's even worth healing with Shill at this point.
Honestly, probably not.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay, so at this point, as you kind of inch your way up to the ledge, the shield getting away, and these two nearest tentacles having been felled, you hear this sudden cracking from up ahead. You can't quite see the roof, it's so high at this point, but you watch as somewhere in through the center of the room, large boulders and stones begin to just collapse and fall, slamming into the water. These huge waves and eruptions cascading. You see this kind of just momentarily, everything collapsing in on the center, and it's they can't attack anyone. Air death.
I think the plan here is good. I think keep our distance. I'm going to start slicing through the air at the closest one. It's going to be 14 damage on that guy. And I'm going to move my way around a little bit, not too far though.
Debris.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, you come moving around, you just slicing out with the sword, sending out these charged bolts of energy. 15 and 23 both hit for 14. Alright. With you, the thing is they kind of slice across them, creating these horizontal slashes, kind of innately just move back, start to slip underneath the water, but it's on Hobble.
Hobble's good with distance. I'll just firebolt this close one.
Will hit for
what could have been
11. You guys have had a lot of what could have beens tonight. Ayo.
Motherfucking Quetzal.
So,
Another one damage.
So, yeah, you let out this bolt of flames that slams in the tentacle just before it begins to retreat downwards. The Quetzal swooping down, biting in before taking back off. It's going to be another 11 and 2 whole damage from Quetzal. It's onto the shield.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, fair enough. Thaddeus.
Yeah, that makes sense. I am going to. I think I'm going to magic missile this guy. Try to. What did you say? He went under the water?
It's beginning to. You can see it just starting to kind of slither down, but it's not its turn yet, so it has not.
Okay.
Done yet.
Yeah. Seeing that, I'm going to try to hopefully take him out before he gets too far away. So I'm going to cast magic missile at second level.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. It is,
Okay.
I suppose also worth noting that as this kind of crumbling has just dropped down into the water, this sort of central light shaft has just illuminated the center of the room.
Does it look like moonlight or sunlight or something else?
It's still day out, I think, for you guys.
Yeah, I lost track of time.
Yeah, because
Been down in this temple.
Yeah, because there's daylight flooding through in the upper. You guys still have daylight.
Okay.
Not quite that big. Or that big. Why is this? There we go. So, what did I see? Magic missile. Nearest one?
Right.
Okay, that is 18. As you come, yeah, I mean, not even moving up, just staying where you are, just letting out this flurry of missiles, each one cascading, skidding along the water as it slams into the thing just before it sucks itself back down. 18. All right. Anything else?
No.
Okay, as this one sucks itself back down in the water, you see the other two further away all do similar, just suck straight down into the water. Oh, we lose someone? Oh no, that's a
You lost you.
There we go. At least it gave me a little sound that time. Didn't do that before. Whoa, wow. What's going on over here?
Yeah, teleport into the water.
What's going on over here, Shaggy?
Aerodef turns black and dies.
So, just moments after this one sucks itself into the water, you see this secondary wave explode right in front of you. And yeah, it's going for air death. Can he do it again? No, it is close. That is 23. Hey, 23.
Exactly my armor class with shield up. So I do nothing.
Alright, I like those odds. 1d10, you are grappled and restrained with 8 damage. This thing just slams into you, grabbing you by the leg.
It takes 10 cold damage.
10 cold. Okay, it is as much as just like a slam into you. Give me a con save real quick.
Fuck's sake.
You are poisoned. You feel the poison insert or just kind of flow across the surface of your skin, but as it wraps and coils itself around you, before it even has a chance to pull you away, the cold, frigid ice of your armor starts to cascade along the tentacle. You're easily just slam down into it, shattering it, and it's gone. The other ones you have no sight of, and it's on to, I just deleted it, air to death.
Okay, so I'm going to be just prowling along the edge of the water, looking for more of these. I'm going to ready a booming blade for when they appear.
Okay. Hobble.
I'm gonna follow at a safe distance behind air death, and I'm gonna ready firebolt.
Okay. The shield, I assume, just staying there.
Yeah, I think she's going to be like inching her way across, but on the higher level. But she's definitely not really putting the all into this fight anymore. She's putting it in a little bit.
It's fair. It's fair. Thaddeus?
Thaddeus is staying his ass right here within range of Chill Touch, which he will cast if one of them pops out.
Okay. Go ahead and give me those ready to actions as you guys all stand there prepared. One of them just pulls out of the water in front of Airdeath again, attempting to attack. 12 will miss. 18 will hit for 11. And hey, Booming Blade will hit for 26. Is that?
26.
Spicy meatballs. This thing pulls out, you quickly slash into it, kind of recoils for a moment, then darts straight in. Can he crit? Can he roll an 18? Can he roll a magic number?
It's gonna hit. I can't talk about it.
Oh man.
Kind of flourishes on my turn.
I think you've like been able to use that shield like maybe once since you got this
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my flourish as well. Like, if I'd have flourished on this, it would have been pointless for him. But
that booming blade is not a crit because you were poisoned.
I need to take my save because it's the end of my turn.
Oh, yeah.
I actually passed, so
pretty good.
Not poisoned anymore.
Then give me
He
another
takes
one.
another 10 cold damage.
Okay, I'll take the 10. If he's still up, and go ahead and give me another con save for me.
That's my save this time.
Okay.
I think.
So, yeah, you passed. So, see, slams into you this time, the cold kind of etching across. You try to, like, break it, but it doesn't quite give. And you immediately become grappled and restrained as he kind of pulls you back towards him. Now, kind of hovering 5 feet off the ground. It is on you. The other one does not resurface.
Alright, in that case, I'm going to channel a Thunderwave down at him. It's the first level.
That will fail. And that'll be 13 as you kind of just kick down this blast of thunder damage and just warps across the area. You see him just kind of shackle and shake and then drop you as it lurches for a moment and gets pulled back down.
I'd like to use the blast wave to like push myself off 10 feet and then like,
Fair enough.
land, if
Yeah.
that's alright.
That's fine. Which brings it to Hobble. No, unless you have movement.
I'm gonna like just be sticking by this pillar. I'm not gonna do anything else.
I'm going to edge back a bit away from Airdeath because this thing seems to have a hard-on for him, and I'm going to ready another firebolt.
Okay. I fucking deleted them again. I think it was...
The shield is ready to javelin. That's all.
Okay. And Thaddeus. These things go right
Ready and
after
Chill
you.
Touch.
Okay. Go ahead and do your ready to actions as this one appears. It's not quite next to Airdeath. You watch as big blast of water happens along this center platform connecting the center area and the larger room that you're in. 22 will hit. Over 9. Is that firebolt ready just now?
Yeah.
Okay, 14. Yeah, you guys let both of these attacks out, slams into this thing, but as it emerges and continues through the attack, you see two of the tentacles on either side just kind of wrap itself around the platform. You start to hear this as it's seemingly trying to break through the stone. And Tawny out of death.
None of that. So I go sprinting down this way, slicing away with my Eldritch Blast for 14 damage on him this time. Aiming at the ones directly like over the stone piece. I'm just trying to slash them away.
Fourteen. Yep. Oh, you come running along, just slashing as you go, sending out these bolts of energy. Both slam straight into him. You see there's this momentary slip as it pulls away, and then it reconstricts and continues damage through the stone. 14. Here goes to Hobble.
I'm going to start chasing after Air Death because I suspect that we should not let this thing break through the walkway.
What? Seems like a fine idea to me.
I'll firebolt it, and my Quetzal will attack it.
Oh, it's not showing.
Actually, the Quetzal won't. I hadn't done the distance on that. But it will start flying towards...
I'm not sure. You actually have to double check. I don't know what the fly distance is. The token
It's
is on...
60.
Oh, okay.
It could get there, but I'm worried about it getting away.
Right.
But I'll have it fly more towards the center of the room.
Okay. It just flies towards the center, starts hovering about there. You let out the firebolt, but it just kind of aims too high. Goes flying over these tentacles, which are lying low and just wrapped around it at this point. Brings it to the shield.
She's going to be limping along, going to throw javelins.
She's actually kind of
That's going to be 2 hits for 15 total.
okay. She comes sort of running along, just chucking at javelins, kind of lodging themselves in the mega, more hefty mass just below the surface. You can see the javelins protruding out, just the ends of their shafts over the tips of the water. The thing kind of lurches and pulls back for a moment, and then you see the tentacles kind of reach underneath and grab more so from the other side as it reconnects. And it goes to Thaddeus.
That's a really nice booming effect, by the way. When you hit your desk by accident there.
Was it a good boom?
It's actually really good, yeah.
Ooh, alright, more rocks fall from the ceiling.
Okay, I am going to see if I can move up in the... No. Okay, well, I'm going to cast Chill Touch on both of them then. Top bottom.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so the first one comes cascading out of the water, wrapping itself, coiling itself, ironically, around them, and pulling away. You see where it is connected and wrapped around the causeway there. Start to wither and torment, and eventually just tearing at the seams as the top one gets pulled back into the depths. Bottom one still up. Takes 7.
I'm gonna move back just a bit. That's it.
Erdeth. Or actually, sorry, them.
It's there.
Although it's just really doing the same thing. I'm not rolling for it. I guess I'll roll the damage.
Yeah, I'm still running down the end towards this final area up here, and I'm going to be swinging out with that Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Just 2 damage though.
2. Okay. As you go swinging in, letting out these blasts of energy, you hear the simultaneous just as more and more of the stone becomes disleveled and upheaved. You can hear the shattering of it under the weight of this constricting tentacle. And it goes to Hobble. As I try to find stone damage that doesn't suck. Oh, it's
It's all about that Kettle damage.
Yes, I do 14 total between me and the Quetzal.
Takes one. Yeah, I scrolled up, I didn't see it. Yeah, so you go running to catch up with Air to Death. Let out a bolt of flame just as the Quetzal flies by, taking a jab at it. Blast hits this side of the tentacle, starting to wither and churn at it. You see part of it start to rip at the seams, but it's still there, still holding on. You can see it actually starting to slowly intertwine back together. The shield.
The shield's out of javelins, so she's gonna huck a spear at it. Miss miserably.
Very much. Now that it's on the other side, it's a much harder target, no hefty mass to shoot at. It's just gonna actually kind of in your direction, Erda. You just see the glint of it and the beam of light heading down from the ceiling, kind of duck behind the column as it hits the wall, kind of just beside you. She way overthrew it.
That's a turn.
Thaddeus, still hanging back. In character and out of character.
What's that? Yeah. Yeah, he's staying back there just because really doesn't see any need to get close to the edge with, ranged options. Plus the ceiling seems to be collapsing in there, so not ideal. He is going to chill touch that dude.
Definitely gonna hit. 13 damage. Hit again. Skeletal Hands continues to warp in and out. This time grabbing it, trying to like yank it away. Parts of it start to melt and shudder. There's nothing else. It's on Air to Death.
It's on them, actually.
Oh, he's on them. Keep accidentally deleting the one. It's on the initiative. I should just have a blank one off the map. Yeah, it cannot miss. 12 damage. With this, you hear this absolute echoing. Part of it seems to completely pile through. You see the tentacles start to break and dislodge, actually losing some altitude as it becomes submerged in the stone, that it's collapsing underneath it. Hobble. Or Air to Death, sorry. I need to. Let me just add it.
Yeah.
What a concept.
So at this point, like seeing how much damage it's doing, I'm gonna stop like slicing through the air with it, and I'm still gonna like level my blade, and I'm just gonna like shoot out just one continuous like pulsing blast of energy at it, which I'm gonna just keep holding throughout the turns. For 11.
Okay. 11 damage, yeah. He's holding the weapon out. It's this warping, almost like a ray of just pure force damage, cascading into it, starting to very clearly sever it at this point. Now it's on Hobble.
And I'm gonna give myself a healing word as well while I'm doing that, just buff myself back up.
Shouldn't that be 2 die 10?
No, it's 2 different rows. Oh, that's really stupid. It looks at my warlock slot only for whether or not I have slots left.
GG. Alright, Hobble.
I'm gonna shoot off another firebolt, but I want to aim it more at the part of the tentacle that's doing the constricting. Like I want to try to get it to loosen its grip a little bit.
Okay. Between the continuous beam onslaught from Air to Death, the firebolt that just slams into the thinner part around the top that's kind of constricting. Even though at this point you can tell that it's kind of constricted all the way around. This platform doesn't seem to go entirely to the bottom of the ground. It seems to be a thin stone across the top. But nevertheless, you kind of aim for the thinner parts, and for a moment you see it kind of slip and relent before it recoils itself. Although in various areas that you hit it with a firebolt, the constant array of eldritch blasts. It seems to be sort of untethered in multiple areas. There's the shield.
So the shield's going to take very careful aim this time with her spear. And she's going to let it loose. Fucking miss.
In a fucking miss. Yeah, it's not as bad as last time, and it kind of just cascades over it and slams into the, it slams into the water just beneath a hobble in you.
Oh, third time lucky, maybe. I mean, she's got one throwing weapon left in the all this.
Thaddeus. Oh, she's gonna be like out too. That's rough.
Yeah, I'm still not sure if there's another one hiding below the water or not. That one dipped down, but so I'm gonna stay here and just keep grabbing them with my deathly hand.
13 will hit, and
Trying to.
the hand envelops around it again, just tearing more away from the flesh. You can see at this point it's starting to wither across most of it, becoming, while already this sort of sickly greenish black, it's now very decayed in certain areas on top of the smoldering, just areas missing. But it is still maintaining. And
That is just gonna yell out, "Die, you fucking creature!" So I can take a long rest, IRL.
And with that, you hear this resounding as finally it breaks through the entirety of this surface. You see a central hole just sort of pulled down into the depths. This thing kind of following suit with it, going underneath the water momentarily before it whips itself back up and kind of stuck between both areas, just grabbing each side with its tentacles and starting to tear further. Hair to death.
Have none of that. I just keep up the ray. That's going to be another 16 then, I think.
You split it in two.
Split it in two. You thought the ooze was gonna split, but it was the tentacles. Alright. 18 hitting, 14 hitting. That is 16. 16 damage. And as you continue this rail, though its position is sort of shifted, causing your ray to hit into a different spot, you nevertheless manage to just vaporize through one spot, making a clear hole through to the side that you were already kind of focusing in on. At this point, you see it kind of relinquish its grasp on both sides, the tentacles sort of flailing in the air in between the columns there. It's up, but it's no longer trying to pull away at things. Hobble.
Then I'm going to move as well, actually. Sorry. I'll do it on my turn, so it's okay. You can carry on.
Hobel.
This Quetzal can't roll for shit.
I mean, it's not really its purpose. So, as Erdeth kind of makes his way around the corner, you following suit. Just before you reach the corner, you quickly let out this last bolt of flame. Soaring towards it, it slams in, making this incendiary impact as it explodes. You see what's left of it in the area where there's this clear hole rot, already decayed and decrepit in multiple areas, and still smoldering off this rancid heat from your previous blast. With this one final bolt, there's this momentary lull in its movement as the tentacles kind of flailing about just stop and then pull itself all the way down into the water. And we're left with a hole.
Fucking hole.
Yeah, good enough. the shield.
It's gonna hug a spear. No, I don't know. I don't think she's got anything to do. I think she's got that spear ready. She's poised and ready to throw it, but can't see anything. So.
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus hasn't seen anything else in a while, so he's gonna cautiously make his way into the room here. And he is hugging the shit out of that.
Erda.
So I'm going to carry on running around. Yeah, so we're basically right in that archway, right there. Sort it out.
As you turn the corner, you see it's no longer there. Just this open, collapsed center of the causeway.
Yeah. I can't dash across this time. So yeah, I'm going to get my blade ready again. It's still crackling from the ray before, and I've got it poised over my shield, ready to shoot out another beam. I think comes up.
Okay, Hobble.
I'm just going to stay where I am, and I am going to ready a firebolt.
Okay. As you ready a firebolt, I mean, you see the front outline of Erda kind of coming around the corner. Thaddeus starting to approach from the other side, the shield holding her ground with spear ready, focused on the water. You don't see any of these tentacles to move up. There's still this shimmering in the waves from where they've collapsed and withdrawn. But what you do see is, through this beam of light, a large pterodactyl-esque shadow cast along the center of the room. And that's where we're gonna end it.
Damn son of a bitch. Fucking for a cup.
Dun dun! We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. God, I'm fucked up here, guys. Don't have my Hexblade curse, because I thought there was big things going to be way harder than they were.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have spells.
You have any spells?
I have 2. I have a level 1 and a level 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty low.
Yeah, I'm not rocking a lot, put it that way. I've got 2 flourishes left. No curse. No armor leg, so.
Oh man, I should have made a cool... I messed up. I should have made a cool pterodactyl shadow.
I mean, I was pretty disappointed you didn't, to be honest, so.
Make it for next time so we can start off properly.
Oh, that's not even dark. Wow, what a terrible tint. Give me better tints.
I think I
We'll
see
see
it.
it next week because I'm out of here. Y'all have a good night.
Take care, so. Hopefully we'll have Alice next week.
Well, at least her character's still alive.
I would take
so.
bets on it, but
That's true.
I would take
She
bets,
has a
but
reason
it's
to
literally like a
possibly
50-50
show.
shot at this point. It's been every other week almost.
Yeah, she's not doing well.
We'll find out next time if Alice shows up. I hope so.
That's our cliffhanger.
Right.
I hope so.
Alright, see you guys.
Better.
And we're done.